Last time on Square Roots, the good guys beat the bad guys, Dunwall gets the Empress it deserves, and everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a gang. I don't actually know the words to that
Part
song.
of a gang.
Dating a teen. It's
Everything is
dating a
cool
teen.
when you're in the crypts.
Eating a teen? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Johnny.
Yeah, everything is awesome when you're dating a teen.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant,
Hey, how's it going, Jim?
Johnny Chucklefuck Brandon,
I'm the biggest chuckle fuck in Hug Town.
and Vanessa.
I'm having a great time.
And this is a podcast where we make you laugh and say happy things and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time and make you laugh all the time.
Yay!
Hey, Vanessa, I had a question from a listener that I wanted to ask you
Sure.
here at the beginning of the show. What does the IM stand for?
What are you talking about?
I am Vanessa. What does the IM stand for?
That's a
Ignatia
great question.
Matilda.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just take control of this Zoom call and kick Jim out. Jim, did you forget the discussion we just had at the beginning of the show?
Yeah,
You're on
we were
probation.
gonna laugh a lot.
He's having a good time and he's laughing a lot.
Yeah, I got that memo.
Are you going to answer my
IM.
question, Vanessa?
It stands for Imperial Majesty.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
I'll take it. Makes sense. One small complaint here at the top of the episode. Jim, you did not respond to me when I asked you how you were doing. How dare you? That was rude.
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you for responding.
Did I say this is? Oh yeah, I did. I yelled it actually. This is a
What
podcast
episode
where we
is
play
this?
RPGs. This is episode episode Dishonored
5?
5 D5.
Yeah.
D5.
D5.
It's our
I
I think
Dishonored
this is the
series.
first time. I'm sorry. This is the first time that Jim has asked himself if he said what we did on the show.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
We're turning over a new leaf on this podcast.
It's
Yeah.
a new
we're off
leaf.
to
It's a new
a-
day.
It's a new show.
Yeah.
This is a
It
brand
is a
new
new
show.
It's a brand new show. This is episode 1.
New show, new dynamic, new jokes.
New returning characters.
hosts,
or reoccurring
actually.
Bits. Yeah, new
Yeah.
hosts.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm Matthew Zan Vant.
I think my new returning character is going to be Serpentor. I'll be like, what does Serpentor have to think about this?
Do the voice then.
Is Serpentor
What does he sound
like? A
like?
Snake man?
Oh, I don't remember.
Doesn't he have a real deep voice?
think he has
Serpentor.
Because I just want to like go to Cobra Commander's voice, but
Yes.
he doesn't sound like Cobra Commander.
I am Cobra Commander.
Was once a man.
I love that movie, actually. It's a good movie.
Hey guys, look, it's a kitty.
Whoa.
Hi, Nuke.
It's a nuke.
You shut
Luke's wearing like
baby.
a hat or has like a toupee on.
It kind of looks like a yarmulke, actually.
Oh,
Oh, from the front, it's clearly not.
yeah, it's
I think
got
it
like
looks
an eye
like a
patch.
reverse phantom mask. Like instead of
Yeah.
having the white half mask, it's black.
I wish Porky liked being held, but she hates it.
Nuke hates it.
Jack's not a huge fan. Sometimes you just have to make them, Johnny.
Chungus likes
Cats
it.
hate their owners. News at 11. In the meantime, we are off to a bit of a rough start because 8 years in, we're still bad at this. But hey, do you guys want to talk about some hot gaming news?
Do
Yeah,
I
got some.
ever?
Well, obviously, the Imperial Majesty must go first.
I must go first. It's law. Amazon is eyeing another video game series, and this time they're going right after my darlings. That's right, Mass Effect.
Dragon
the
Age,
TV series is
Ooh.
in the works. You're probably
I hope
wondering.
it's not about boring Commander Shepard and it's about like good characters instead.
I'm not sure.
I hope it's about cool Madam Commander Shepard, the baddest fucking
That
It would
lady.
be
wouldn't
cool
be
if
so
it was
bad.
like the events of Mass Effect, but from the perspective of the Hanar.
Ooh,
I think it would be
yeah.
best to like have it not be a Commander Shepard game, but we're in good hands
It's not a
because
game,
it is being
it's a
written
TV
by
show.
one of the foremost screenwriters in Hollywood, Daniel Casey, who of course wrote my favorite movie and yours, Fast and Furious 9.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's. I thought it was really going to be something good, and it was.
Yeah, I
not.
thought it was going to be like
bad.
The Substance or it's just Substance, right? Is it The Substance
So-
or Substance?
Not one of the
It's the
only
Substance.
two good Fast and the Furious movies, is what you're saying.
I think that in this Mass Effect show, we're going to see a lot of like disparate people coming together and then realizing that they're family, and family sticks together and also steals cars.
They should just
think
make a
that the-
Blasto movie.
I think that
Man,
the Mass Effect. I would love
Everyone
that.
loves FF9. What are you talking about?
I think that Mass Effect has a pretty like cut and dry plot that could make for a good few seasons of television. Like, why wouldn't they just adapt the
Because
game?
Because
if
it's
they
boring.
do that, they'll
You know,
put
if they try to do
stupid
their own
male
shit, it's going to
Shepherd
be
in the-
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
put
sorry,
male
do
Do what,
Shepherd.
Your Majesty.
what
Yeah, you're-
Fallout did and make a new story that doesn't
Yeah.
reject things that happened previously.
Or
But
maybe
it's
they
not
could
the
maybe they could do a mix
same.
of Mass Effect, the original trilogy, and Andromeda, and have a dual Shep, like a male-female Shepherd twin scenario.
I do think that if they
Twins?
go the Shepherd route, they will do male Shepherd, and I only think that because they did do, a let's say quote unquote female MC for the Fallout show. So why would they not do the opposite?
You can't
Amazon
have
has
two-
no
Should we-
imagination.
two shows
You
with
can't
women.
have
Can
two
we-
women.
Can we
Yeah.
fan cast it?
Okay.
Who plays male Shepherd?
Oh, Jack Black.
I was
Paul
gonna say
Dano.
Jack Black.
It's either him or Chris Pratt. So
Garrett Dillahunt.
Oh, no.
Gross. Garrett Dillahunt. Hey.
I knew you.
I
got
think
that.
they
That's the
should.
only reason I
I
said
feel like
it.
he would be a good. Who was that assassin guy that Vanessa had sex with in the second one?
Thane.
Thane.
Thane. He would be a good Thane.
My real answer is it'll probably be somebody you have barely ever heard of, if have ever heard of them at all. But obviously, I would prefer Ryan Reynolds.
I was at the grocery store the other day and I saw a guy who looked exactly like Go era Timothy Oliphant. It was weird.
Oh.
What's Go?
Little baby
It's a-
Timothy
it's
Oliphant.
an okay
It's with
movie.
It was a
Timothy
great
Oliphant and
movie.
like Vince Vaughn is in that, right?
Yeah, and Katie Holmes.
Yeah. It was like a
It's
fun.
a real ensemble piece.
It's like
It's a
a
real
teen,
90s movie.
teen Pulp Fiction where you like
Yeah.
play
Hey.
something Pulp Fiction.
Since we're doing fan casting, listen, I'm going to be straight up. This is not gaming related. Since we're doing fan casting, Ryan Reynolds tweeted or fucking B-skied or whatever that Disney is just fucking rock hard for Channing Tatum's Gambit.
I read
Yeah,
that too.
Good.
If Disney were to greenlight a Channing Tatum-led Gambit movie, who would you fan cast
As
as
Gambit?
Rogue?
Anna Paquin.
The most boring answer. She was a terrible rogue. Sorry, I shouldn't step on your opinions, Your Majesty. I apologize.
So Rogue's like so she's got to do a good Southern accent, right?
Yeah, she's got to be able to do a good Southern accent. I think she has to be like a somewhat, I don't know how to phrase this without sounding like a creep. I think she has to be
Mommy?
a somewhat beefier mommy. God damn it, beefier woman? I did not mean to say mommy. I think she has to be like a
Do not cut that out.
I think she has to be like a bigger not big, but like she's got to be like a more of like a Anna Paquin's like a waifish little.
Like a strong.
Yeah.
I want to see
Yeah,
somebody that can
maybe like
fly
a-
around and look good punching people around. You know what I
Here
mean?
we go. Here. How about Gina Carano?
Oh,
No.
we're not doing that on this episode, Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Try again.
I don't really know who the like contemporary actresses of
Well, Tatum's like mid 40s, right?
Oh,
so
I
he's
know.
got,
How
they
about-
gotta
would
be
have
like,
to be like someone mid 40s.
Yeah, how about
Yeah.
Not be
maybe
creepy.
like Laura Linney or a Helen Hunt?
Helen Hunt.
I think she's like 60.
So is Laura Linney.
Listen, I don't know that this works, and I don't know if she can do a southern accent, but what would you think of Katherine Heigl?
Isn't she too old?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I think I
don't
know what
how
ladies'
old
ages.
she is.
No, everybody's ages.
35, 40.
You know
What
who
about
should play
Blake Lively?
You know who should play Rex is Harry Knowles.
Who's Rex?
Or not Rex from Mass Effect.
Oh, okay. I mean,
All right,
I
here's
don't
my
think
proposal.
he's a good choice.
Harry Knowles? Like, what are you doing over there? Are you on
I got a
drugs?
proposal.
I'm gonna call a fucking welfare check on Jim Banks right now.
She's a little bit older than Channing Tatum, but I think she could do it. Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she could do the accent.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
What about Roseanne?
I think she is only like 5'5", though, but you know.
Well, Roseanne is a senior. I feel like that's not going to work. I don't think she could do a
age
good
her
southern
out of it.
accent.
You don't know what she could do. If she put the
I mean,
suit
you
on.
could CG her like in Beowulf.
You know who I actually believe would be is a good answer for that, and I can't remember her name right now, but the lady from Doctor Who was in the Jumanji movies, I think she would be a good rogue. But she's like a redhead. What is it?
That red hair brown?
What's that lady's name?
I don't know.
Was she playing the lady out of time there? I don't remember her name. The red-haired girl.
She played in Doctor Who.
Yeah, I
The one
only
who
saw
played Nebula?
like
She
Oh,
was
Karen
she was
Gillan?
in Oculus. Karen Gillan. Thank
Yeah.
you. She'd
Yeah.
be a good rogue.
Yeah, I think she's British, but I think that's a good British people can do southern accents.
Here's
It is
a
very,
wild
as a big
suggestion.
X-Men nerd, it is very important to me that Rogue have a fucking southern accent. And I know that that's ridiculous, but it is.
Here's my wild suggestion. Adrian Palicki.
Oh, I like her. She should get more work.
Yeah, she's pretty good. You know,
She's hot. She's a good
yeah,
actor.
I think she might be like Texan or something. I don't know exactly.
She is. She played one
yeah.
of the
That
main
is-
characters in Friday Night Lights.
What
That is
about Jamie
excellent. That's
Kennedy?
perfect.
She was good as Tina in
Jamie
Dead or
Kennedy?
Alive.
Jamie Kennedy's a guy.
Oh, who's the lady who played Tina in Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive, the Uwe Boll movie?
No, it wasn't Uwe Boll. It was some other director. How dare you? That movie's good.
What am I thinking of?
What was her name?
You're thinking of Jamie Presley.
Presley.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, she's not a good actor at all.
She's older
You're
than
right.
you would want for a rogue, I think.
I mean, I would just want somebody in Tatum's age range. I would really hate it if they cast like a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
you know? And
Adrian Palicki is 41 and she's 5'11". She's the perfect rogue.
they would probably cast Anna Paquin, and it would really fucking make me mad because I never liked her as Rogue. All right. That was my non-hot gaming question. That's what this
I've got
segment's
news.
about, right?
Sega, for some mysterious reason, is delisting all its games, all its classic games off of Steam and
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Xbox. And
Maybe they're going to
people
release
think
like
it's-
cool remasters.
Yeah, maybe it's because they're going to make a new cool collection or ruin them or something.
It's
I
called
assume.
supply and demand, Johnny. You
Oh.
limit the supply.
They're doing the
and you
Disney
can
Vault
charge
thing?
more because there's more demand than supply.
That is what Nintendo did with like their
That's what
remasters of those
Nintendo
3D
does all
3D
the
Mario
time.
games. Remember when they re-released Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy, and 64 in that one package for 6 months and then took it off
Yeah.
the market? That was weird. But weird in a positive and happy way.
Yeah, it's so quirky how they do that.
Oh, they're just scamps. Man, do you take fish oil supplements, Jim? Because sometimes after you take them,
Yeah,
you
they
burp.
make your burp smell like tuna and fish.
It's like, why does it smell like fish? Oh, right.
Yeah, it makes your burp smell
Gross.
like fish.
But
I
it's
have
gross
good for your
something to say
conversation.
joints.
about
I have
fish
that
oil.
Mario
Good for your
collection. It's
joints.
cool.
Yeah, it's good.
I have something to say about fish oil, and none of you are going to enjoy it.
Okay.
I like to take fish oil, and I don't even take it in the capsule. I just gulp it down in a little spoonful.
You're a
Oh my
psychopath.
god. You're a fucking
Although
maniac.
that doesn't sound that bad. I mean, listen, if I
I'm
need a
calling a
snack, I'm gonna
wellness
crack
check in
open
on
a can
Vanessa
of
right
sardines
now.
and I'm gonna eat some sardines. I like
Exactly,
sardines.
they're delicious. Well,
They
it
are
was given to
delicious.
me as a child for like health purposes or whatever, so I just developed a taste for it. Oily,
Disgusting.
squishy,
You both
good.
disgust me.
I need to lube my body. Let me just look. Just
Glug, 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 glug.
So that's just listeners. You can write that down in your Vanessa notebook. Part of Her Majesty's childhood regime was being fed raw fish sweat.
Yeah, that's going on
By
the
the
wiki.
spoonful.
is it raw? I assume it would be like boiled.
I'm sure they do
And-
something to it.
You can also write down that Her
they
Majesty's
brine
parents
it.
hate her guts.
Oh, I'm talking about sardines. Whoa, Tony Todd died. That's sad.
No.
No, but in a happy way.
He lived a great life.
Yeah, Tony Todd is fucking resting with the angels now. Isn't that great news?
He was so good in all his appearances. I loved him as Candyman. I loved him as he was a Klingon, right? In a couple of episodes, like a
Remember how
recurring
good he
Klingon?
was as
He was.
Candyman 2? And then when he was Candyman 3, whoa. And then
Well,
I
but
remember when he was
Final
Candyman
Destination,
Reboot.
where he like where he like taunted the teens with a little bit of knowledge about what's happening to them, and then it's like, but you're gonna die anyways, and then they did.
I never
Or in,
understood Candyman's motivations.
Race
Like he was murdered. By
Spectral
bees.
revenge. He was
understand
murdered in a
that.
racial killing.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
but
bees,
that's
right?
no reason to go around like killing kids.
Well, he not only was murdered unjustly, the neighborhood in which he was murdered was being gentrified, and he was a specter murdering gentrifying white people in his neighborhood of Cassini Greens, I think is what it was called.
Is
Why
that
do I
what
know
he
that?
does?
I don't know. Why do I know that?
I didn't remember his victims all being white, but if that was the case, then
I don't think they were.
I do
actually.
understand the plot of Candyman,
But I
in a
think
fun
that,
way.
I think
Would've
that
been
is
better-
the, I
would've
think
been
that
better
is
that
the
way.
setting of the movie is Cassini Greens is getting gentrified.
And Jim also, I think it was Jim that shared that Chucky and the Crypt Keeper have the same eyes and skeleton, basically.
Is it?
Like,
Is
literally?
that true? Because
didn't
I
say
don't
that.
think that's true. That was in the Discord.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I think it is true.
And I didn't.
Like,
I saw that
they
and
use
was
the
like,
same
they don't-
animatronic frame and eyes, and they
I
do
mean,
have very
and not
similar.
Oh,
in-
that's just
not
the frame
like
and eyes?
current Chucky,
Yeah.
because like if you watch that Chucky series, the like puppets that they made for that are amazing. They
Yeah,
look
no,
I
incredible.
mean,
the
nobody's
original
watching
Chucky
that. Nobody's
model-
ever going to watch that.
The original Chucky animatronic model was then used for the Crypt Keeper, who I
Oh.
thought was a lady until I started listening to the Flophouse.
You didn't know the Crypt Keeper was a guy?
I assumed the Crypt Keeper was a lady. Long hair, kind of a higher pitched voice. Why not?
Ladies aren't qualified to Crypt Keep, John.
In a
Wow.
happy way.
Fucking-
That's a boy
Can
job.
we pin the sexist jokes, John?
What? What did
I
I,
also
do?
wanted to
Sexism is
mention. I
funny,
also,
in a
also
good
wanted
way.
to mention Tony Todd also played William Bloodworth in the Final Destination films.
Couldn't
he
tell you a
sort
thing
of
about
like
those
a-
other than I did not like them.
I feel like he was maybe like a graveyard guy or something.
In Final Destination, he was like the mortician who knew
Right,
about
right,
desk
right.
design.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Tony Todd played Kern, Worf's brother.
Yeah, yes. His best
Son of
role,
Moog.
obviously.
Yeah.
I've said it
You're a
before
son
and
of
I'm
a
going to
Moog.
say it again. I believe that the
Children
Final
are the
Destination
future.
movies don't have a villain because death is like just a natural force, and it's fine.
In a
and if there
happy
is
way.
some kind of death design, there's probably a reason for it, and those kids should die.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Tony
the villain
Todd
is
also
fate,
in
and isn't that the
Wishmaster,
villain of
too.
all of our lives?
No, fate is kind.
He has like a very small role in Wishmaster
It's
2.
called a cameo, along with like Kane Hodder and Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, let me wrap up this hot gaming news segment by saying, hey, Death Stranding Director's Cut just got released on Xbox. Whoa!
Yay, you could pee into... Well, I think they got rid of... It's no longer
Pee?
monster cans. Yeah, there's a whole pee mechanic.
Yeah, you pee on the baby, and that makes it healthy, I think.
No, the baby is in your fake womb that you wear on your back.
Do you fill the womb with pee?
No, the pee is used...
Oh, wait, so you poop on the baby? Is that what you're saying? Come on,
the
Johnny.
pee is for grenades that you can throw at the, shadow monsters.
It's the baby's pee, though.
Ew. I tried to play that game and could not get into it.
I think it's pretty cool.
All the
it's got
nerds who like
Conan
it say,
O'Brien.
like, you need to play it for at least 10 hours, and then you'll get into it.
I mean,
That's a
I
weird-
really liked it.
I
thought it had a
gotta
cool
stop
vibe.
everybody right there. That's a weird fucking take coming from Jim Banks, co-host of the Square Roots podcast, where almost every game we play, you have to play for 10 hours before it gets good.
That is true.
That is basically
do it
a
together.
JRPG, my friends.
In a happy, positive way.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love playing 10 hours. I don't know.
Let's be friends. We'll do things together. We'll have a gay old time.
Speaking of gay old times, hot gay news.
Whoa.
Chloe Grace Moritz, the voice of Emily in this very game, has officially come out as a lesbian.
Whoa.
That's cool.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't actually have anything to say about it.
Representation matters.
Oh, is
I know it
Emily
sounded-
gay and Dishonored?
Well,
Is
sort
Emily
of
not gay in Dishonored
I
too?
was wondering about that in Dishonored 2. There's letters from her paramour, but they aren't gendered. So I think you can take it either way.
I would say that Elizabeth in Dishonored 2 has BLE. You know what I mean? Big lesbian energy.
Oh, I thought you're saying labia. I was like, oh.
Oh.
I like that better.
Big
We should do
labia
that.
energy.
Yeah.
We should do big labia energy? Is that
Yeah.
First
That's
of all,
is that the title of this episode?
a lot of ladies get self-conscious about the size of their labias, and they end up having labiaplasty and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a hot take.
Well,
I think
I
all
mean-
labias are beautiful.
I think that a lot of women rightfully feel that way because they do have gigantic labias and should feel ashamed in a positive way.
What?
You know.
Matt.
That's a great take, Matt.
That's a terrible. I mean, I know we have to be positive. Matt, it's cool that you think that, but I think
John, you don't even know what a fucking labia is.
There should be a slang term called slabia where you have a great labia and you say slabia.
Ooh, yes. And then you do the finger claps? Vanessa can do it.
What?
That.
What is this? What
What
the
is
finger
this?
thing?
It's like in Drag Race where people are. It's like what the cool teens do, where they're not clapping, they're like doing something with their fingers instead. Especially
It does
in,
not
drag,
sound cool.
drag shows.
I don't know what you're talking about, and I thought that you were
I thought Vanessa's done it
wiggling your
before.
fingers together to mimic a labia
we
somehow.
all thought. All right, we're talking about labias, and he started doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip, 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 flip.
Flap, flap, flap. Ew.
See, Jim agrees with my big labia take. Clearly,
Flap
I don't
with the
mind big
winds
lab.
of change and freedom. That's my labia theme.
all right. Can I
think
admit
it was
something?
great.
Is this a safe space? Can I admit something?
No. Yeah, but go ahead and
No.
say it.
But yeah.
What's a labia?
Matt.
You have sired children, sir.
Listeners, if you know what a labia is, write in. Swearwordspodcast@gmail.com.
All right. So,
This is the best episode you've ever done.
are you ever thinking about like what to do on a Wednesday night and you just don't know and you're all alone and you're like, where are my friends at? I'll tell you where they're at. They're probably streaming a game on the Square Roots YouTube.
Not this
Whoa.
week.
We're
Not this
doing
week,
it again?
but that's fine
Oh,
and
this
good.
Next
Yeah,
week,
last
fucking
week we
sure.
did.
Busy.
When you say not this week, this comes out on Monday.
You mean
Okay.
last
Right.
week.
Not last week.
We didn't do it last week because we were all having a fine, great time.
We were too busy having fun. So, but we will be back this week with our third installment of Illusion of Gaia. We're also streaming lots of other fun stuff. Jim did a ton of Halloween spooky time streams over the course of October. I still need to wrap up my Silent Hill 2 stream. I've got one episode of that left. And after Illusion of Gaia, we'll have another one going. It'll be Jim's turn, and he's really excited to play something new and talk about it. So check
And
that
you
out.
and I,
Square Roots
Matt,
Podcast, YouTube.
We
Yes.
streamed Observation Duty 7.
That's right. We did a special Halloween-y episode. We did I'm on Observation Duty 7, and it was much, much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was
That
a
was
good fun
fun.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
I
good
just
stream.
it just didn't seem like the type of game that was for me, but then I ended up having a really good time. So I'm glad that we did that. That was a lot of fun. And so we have lots of great streams. Vanessa and I have also played Save the Queen, and Vanessa, Johnny, and Jim have played a lot of Phasmophobia. Check out the Square Roots YouTube channel. Just search up Square Roots Podcast on YouTube.
SquareRoots.com/YouTube stream every Wednesday, hyphens in between, .html.
So you'll notice that. So what's it called? Observation Duty 7. It's like
I'm on Observation Duty 7.
It's like a spot the difference game, but sometimes the differences are like, oh, the banister to this pool is in a different part of the pool, and sometimes it's like there's a worm in the water slide.
Oh, I did not like that worm. Mm-mm.
What about the giant man? That was great.
That was crazy.
The Johnny boyfriend that Vanessa said.
No, there was an
You
even
know what?
bigger one.
She's-
No, the Johnny boyfriend was the man that was the naked man humping the bed.
No, he was in the well, I didn't see a humping the bed part. There was a guy
Well,
like when he
that came
cleared out
later.
the fog in the sauna, and there was a beefy
Yeah.
boy there.
Yeah, that was the original giant boyfriend. No, the giant guy was like, he took up the whole room.
No.
It was
There-
crazy.
yeah, the giant guy took up the whole room. And then there was also a naked large man, but not like a giant, just like a very large naked man humping a bed at one point.
Aw.
That game was fucking crazy. It was a good time.
It would
Hey,
be fun
there's
to do it
another-
with all of us at one point, just to have more eyes. We could do like a 4-quadrant kind of thing, see if we
Mm-hmm.
can really master it. Because Matt and I never managed to beat a level. It's a hard
Yeah, we're never
game.
playing that game again. So there is another YouTube channel you can check out and should check out, and that is Johnny's new channel, Bears in Games. Neo!
Yay! And I've been working on the script for the next video, finally. So that's been fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited, but it just takes me a while, especially like if I'm busy at work or just feeling a little down in the dumps. Sometimes it
We
doesn't
don't do that
happen.
here. We only feel good.
That's true.
Yeah, take your dumps elsewhere.
This is a no dump zone.
Johnny,
That's not true. Dumps all the time.
you have been very busy at work lately, so we understand that things are taking a little longer, but that's fine. We're all looking forward to your next episode about Simpsons Hit and Run. So again, Bears and Games Neo, check that out on YouTube. Finally, our Patreon vote just wrapped up. Whoa!
Whoa, did Sea of Stars win?
Patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast if you want to get in on our next vote. But the most recent vote just wrapped up, and Sea of Stars will be the game we're playing next.
That's a fun game. It's
See.
gonna be so much fun.
Stars. 20
What
hours.
can
Okay, that's
people-
not that bad.
What can people play it on? if
It's
they
on
want to play it.
Steam. It's on PlayStation. It's on.
Is it still on
Xbox, too.
Game Pass?
I feel like it was on Game Pass. It was.
on Game
Pass,
Not
yeah.
sure if it still is. It looks like Tomb Raider 2013 did make like a final push. It got 31% of the vote. And Sea of Stars won the vote with 35% of the vote. So
Wow, almost a nail biter.
Sea of Stars did have a relatively interesting plot going on and pretty fun gameplay. And I think that we will have a good time with it. So Sea of Stars. That'll be our next season after Dishonored, which only has one episode left.
Whoa.
Whoa! And for once, I'm ahead of the podcast. I've already finished the next chunker. We'll talk about why in a moment.
Congratulations.
Did you finish this chunker of the podcast?
Now,
Oh, he didn't.
how
I'm
would
gonna be
you
first to admit I
define?
didn't finish this chunker.
How would you
What?
define finish, Matt?
Does that mean you didn't play the Witches of Brigmore?
I know that's not the chunker.
Me or him?
The chunker is Knife of Dunwall, as everyone knows, because it was in the notes for the show. It was said on the show.
It was said on
It
the
was in
show,
notes for the show, actually.
but sometimes when you're writing the episode notes for the podcast thing and you listen to the podcast, but you're intoxicated, you remember Vanessa saying the
Yeah.
wrong DLC. And then you play the wrong DLC, but
Yeah.
at least...
So we can all agree that what you're saying is this was Vanessa's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, this was I was like telling her all the things I was doing in the DLC, and she's like, "Oh, that's great. What a great job, Johnny." But she thought I was just playing ahead, and that's why I was like talking about all these decisions I was making and things that happened.
I was being very encouraging.
And then she mentioned a thing that happened about an eyeball, and I was like, "There's no slaughterhouse in this junker." And then just my world came crashing down.
Mine too.
Pretty
because
much the funniest fucking thing that happened in my life this week was all of us. It was basically, well, sorry, not all of us, because Jim was busy working, but Vanessa and I basically at the same moment realizing that Johnny had played the wrong DLC, and we both at the same time were like, Johnny.
I didn't know that there was a chronological. I mean, okay, they do show up. It does show up before Witches of Brigmore or Brigmore Witches in the
and
list.
Witches
But there's
of
also
Brigmore
another
does
one.
sort of start with like, well, a lot of interesting stuff happened
Yep.
in that last DLC. Now
Does,
let's
in
see
fact-
what happens next.
Yeah, it does in fact pick up mid-story. I mean, I get it. I can see it. Like, you know, you play
Yeah,
these games, you don't know. You think it's in media res. Like, you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I guess
exactly.
I'm fucking...
There's a journal that like fills you in on what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay. He's obsessed with a lady named Delilah. Weird. Okay. Speaking of being obsessed with a lady named Delilah.
Though it does kind of show how little Johnny pays attention to our podcast, our chat during the day, because I'd say like 2 weeks ago, all of us have a discussion about powers carrying over from the previous time and like restarting the fucking DLC.
Yeah, I thought you meant from the main game.
I
likely
think
story.
that it's unfair to say that Johnny doesn't pay attention to it because he's usually asleep when we're chatting during the day.
How dare you? Well,
I go
maybe
back
actually that's
and
true.
read the messages that get sent overnight, both of them.
You don't respond to them, but you read them.
I do respond to them. In
You
fact,
just
I've
throw
made
them in the
I've made an
garbage.
effort. I've made an effort for the last several months to make sure I respond to your middle of the night messages when I wake up.
Yes, you see, listeners, I work night shift, so while they're sleeping, I'm like typing about like a show I'm watching or my thoughts. Sometimes I go on a weird rant. Like
That was me today in the
Sometimes I'm
Discord.
awake when Johnny's awake in the night because I'll have insomnia.
Wow. Get a better brain and sleep good, dummy.
I'm working on it.
I'm sorry, Your
I have this-
Majesty.
Yes, thank you. I think my new positive attitude will help with that a lot. And also, I made the extreme step of starting to keep the cat out of the room when I'm sleeping. because he does like to bop me on the nose with his paw or sit on my head when I'm asleep.
What a
My
dick.
cat only does that when she's hungry.
The last 3 times I've fallen asleep, the dog that I'm dog sitting has decided that there's something in the front yard he has to bark at.
Oh.
That's been really making me crazy.
The
What you
weird
got
thing
out there,
is,
like a squirrel? Lizard?
I've seen the dog in the background of
Crocodile?
Matt's shots sometimes, and it's just like a man in a dog suit, sort of like The Shining.
Hot.
Matt, have you ever seen an alligator when you weren't expecting to? Like just around?
I have.
Like a wild alligator?
I have.
The question was for Matt, Jim.
No.
You know what, Vanessa? I have not. Though I have to say that I typically am expecting to see an alligator. So when I'm not expecting an alligator, if I'm by water, I'm looking for alligators.
I see.
I certainly
see
have
what
seen
you're
a lot
saying.
of alligators in the wild.
Yeah.
When I drove
One day
down
I was
to,
walking on like a nature walk and I saw a baby alligator and it was so fucking cute.
Oh, adorable. You should have taken it for
Little-
a pet.
Little chumpy. Yeah, and then I could have flushed him down the toilet.
Yeah. They live in the sewers.
Yeah, it'll
Jim,
feed
please
off the
tell your
fat
alligator
globs.
story.
One time I went to it's like a resort, I guess. It was a bunch of cabins north of Houston in like the kind of swampy river area, and around like all of the cabins overlooked like the swampy water, and the crocodiles or alligators, I guess, were
Yes, definitely
conditioned
alligators.
to beg for marshmallows at all the
Oh.
cabins, so you could overlook the deck and there would be like 3 alligators there waiting for you to throw them some marshmallows.
That sounds very safe and cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're
that'll-
also they had the alligators and those big giant turtles, like those huge like 200-pound turtles that would also ask for food. Those were terrifying.
One time I went to local amusement park Busch Gardens and they had 2 giant tortoises.
Turts.
And no, torts, not turts, because they were
Torts.
tortoises. And when I walked by the exhibit, they were banging. They were having sex.
Hey, hot.
When I was a kid, there were always commercials for Busch Gardens. Like, well, you know what? I think it was more of a teen because I feel like it was very Lion
few of
King
them.
inspired with like African drums and cool giraffes and stuff, and it looked amazing. I've never been to one. Is it as amazing as the commercials make it out to seem?
There's a few of them around the country. It is actually a pretty cool place. Like,
Okay.
it is a mixture of a zoo and an amusement park, and they do actually. At least I've only been to the one by me in Tampa, but the rides are actually fucking great. They do have some great rides, and it's a pretty cool zoo. Actually, it's
I like
it's
a
a good
zoo.
zoo. Yeah,
I used to
so
go
you're
to
walking
one-
around. Basically, you're walking around between the rides, and there's fucking turtles banging, and bald eagles, and like giraffes and elephants and
Are
cheetahs
the bald
and
eagles
lions.
banging too? Are the giraffes getting it on?
I don't think I've ever seen more than one bald eagle at a time at a zoo. I actually have seen them in the wild a few times.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of bald eagles where I live.
Yeah, there are.
I've
There's
seen
a-
them
there's a
sifting
nest
through
by me.
trash. It was pretty funny.
They're huge.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are enormous. They waddle around like penguins on the ground. Too.
Yeah,
But
they're
it's very
giant.
shocking when they make their bald eagle cry, and it's like, "Wah," and not, the noise that you expect from the movies.
There was a
Jesus.
different kind of hunter bird, a raptor thing, and it made the actual. Is it an osprey that makes that noise? Because I heard it, and I was like, "Wow, that's
It's a
that eagle sound."
Falcon of some kind.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we get
Your
a
Majesty,
lot of
Your
raptors
Majesty was
around here.
going to regale
Oh,
us
thank
with
you,
the
Matt.
tale.
It really wasn't that interesting, just that I also used to go to a different Busch Gardens than Matt pretty frequently, and it was okay. It had a lot of plantings and, like, sort of nature to it, but the best was Halloween time when they would do, like, 5 or 6 haunted houses on the
Yeah.
Busch Gardens grounds. And
Yeah.
sometimes, like, they wouldn't run all the rides then, so there was one that was like in the like guts of the log flume ride,
that's
which was pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Imagine doing that in like what's that indoor space roller coaster in Disneyland?
Space Mountain.
Yeah, imagine doing that.
Isn't
in
that
Space
something else
Mountain.
now? You know, I've been to the, I want to say it's called Howless Scream, is
Yeah,
the
that's
Busch
what
Gardens.
it was called where I was.
And I've been to that a couple of times. It's fun. I've never seen them run the rides. It's at night. They don't run the rides at night.
Yeah, I would think that they would run like one or two where I was,
No, they
but not
don't.
all of them.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to contradict you. I'm just saying.
No, that's all right. And they'd also have shows, and there would be like the sort of the family-friendly show, and then the little bit like more casual show in like the beer hall or whatever, which was also family-friendly. But then there'd be one sexy show.
Ooh.
They don't really do that beer hall as much anymore. They used to hand out free beers, and now they hand out like an 8-ounce beer, and they check your ID and like scan your ID so that you don't get more than one. It used to be a fun time where you could circle back around and
Beer up.
yeah, I did that a few times.
I drove down to Florida once from Montreal. It was quite a long drive. We just wanted
That
to
sounds like a
cross.
fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it really wasn't bad. Just down on I-95, and then I went to that cool town in Georgia, Savannah. We stayed in Savannah.
Yeah.
That place is gorgeous. And then we just wanted to cross the border, and then we saw alligators by the water there. It was pretty cool. Not the seawater.
I've been to Savannah twice, and the second time I went, I got so sick that I thought I was going to die.
Oh, that's bad.
Mostly because my friend invited me to come stay with him, but then had like nowhere for anybody to sleep. And so the first night I slept on his carpetless concrete floor and got pneumonia. Not immediately, but by the time I got home, I had pneumonia.
Your mom was right.
Cool.
You know, if you sleep on a floor like that, you'll catch pneumonia.
Pneumonia is a happy thing to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a good point. I had pneumonia. It was such a good time.
Funmonia.
Yeah, funmonia.
Anyway, don't
Funmonia!
sleep on a concrete floor in fucking winter because that'll kill your ass.
It can.
In a fun way. Anyway, it's time for the quest log.
Yay!
Yeah, we're fucking 45 minutes into this episode. We didn't even do the level ups. Good Christ.
We'll do them
That's
at the
because
end,
we're
like
having
always.
such a good time and everything
We're
is
having a
so
great
cool.
time.
I'm so happy. It's like I can't remember last time I felt this like little amount of stress.
Yeah, it's
I'm not worried about
euphoria.
anything. I fucking love my life.
So, we
Feels like
open
it's going down a dark path.
with the assassination of Empress Jessamine. Oh no. This is just how Dishonored started, if you recall.
This is just
which
how
I hope you
Dishonored
did,
started.
'cause
But it's from Dowd's perspective, the assassin.
That's right.
Wait, so this
We are-
is not a DLC about Corvo post putting Emily on the
Post
throne?
pudding.
Not
That
at
was some
all.
delicious pudding.
Not at all. This DLC takes place simultaneously to the events of Dishonored.
Boo. I want to know what happens after the game.
Now,
Play
this is all
Dishonored 2,
about
bitch.
what Dowd was doing during Corvo's imprisonment. It's what we've all been
Dowd.
wondering.
I'm down.
sucks.
I've killed so many nobles. I'm gonna
doesn't-
be
you
the
know what?
main character of the DLC.
Michael Madsen has done some bad vocal performances before in video games, but this is one of the better ones. I think
This is
he
a
did
good
a good
one.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good one.
It's weird to hear you guys say that because I thought everything about it was terrible.
I'm a little bit
in
confused
a good
at
way.
the Billy Lurk character
Why?
Well,
because
We'll
of
get
what
to,
happens
like-
in all the rest of the Dishonored games, Matt.
yeah.
It explains it in the rest of the Dishonored games.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But not the end of this game. It
Yes,
can
it
have
does.
a non-canon ending.
Well,
It
I don't-
depends on what you do, I guess.
Yeah.
does it? Because I
Yep.
I don't
And
want to.
that's it for this episode of Square Roots.
Sweet. I'm going back to playing PUBG. You guys want to send me a video? You want me to send you this video of the sweet headshot I got earlier? It was amazing.
Oh, I saw it. It was good.
No, that was the other day. I got a new one.
Oh, you got another one?
Multi-kill.
It wasn't a glider.
So, we through the eyes of Dowd, we see him assassinate Empress Jessamine, and we
He
also
talks
get
to his
his little,
crows.
he talks to his crows, and we get his little internal monologue, and he's like, "Oh man, I thought I could just assassinate this lady, no problem, but it turns out it made me feel bad. Whoa, boo, I'm sad."
I gotta say up front, like, I found the story of Dowd here and his like, "Meh, I feel bad about what I did," to be like such bullshit. Like we already talked about it, so I can say it. This DLC made me even more confident in my decision to murder that motherfucker when I had the chance. Like, I just want to go retire back to my home village and not kill anymore. So what, motherfucker? You're a fucking psychopathic killer, and you deserve to die.
I liked it, though. I thought that it wasn't like, oh, I feel sad. It's like everything changed. It wasn't so much that he regretted it, although he did, but I think it was more that he felt the change that it made in the world.
Right. Whereas usually he can just, like, knock off one noble, another takes their place. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I think in the initial conversation with the outsider, he mentions this, that, hey, you can't just do this and not expect repercussions. Like, things happen as a result of your actions. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. So after this assassination, we're sort of thrust immediately into the void, and the outsider's like, "Hey, did you know that there are only 6 people in the world that have my special mark? And I haven't been paying attention to you for a long time because you haven't done anything interesting. I gave you all this powers, and all you did is become a dumb, boring assassin with it. Mm-hmm. But now you've done one interesting thing, so I'm gonna give you a gift. It's a mystery that starts with a name. Delilah."
Whoa.
Delilah.
Everyone in this game, when they say Delilah, sort of says it like Delilah.
Delilah.
Delilah. So after that, 6 months pass. We learned this from another Dowd monologue. And he says, time was passing. Corvo's in jail or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I've learned about a whaling ship named the Delilah. And so I'm going to go to the slaughterhouse where the owner of the whaling ship resides, or at least he presides over the slaughterhouse. He probably doesn't live there. And find out what the deal with this ship is.
What's the deal with the ship?
Smash cut to shopping. Mm-hmm. This is a little different. Before each mission, we just kind of get a pop-up screen and says, "What do you want to buy to go on your mission?"
What are you buying? What are you selling?
Well, in addition to stuff, I'm selling favors.
Ooh.
Favors.
Mm-hmm. I like these favors. I feel like they're kind of a difficulty thing. You can make the things a little bit easier on yourself by giving yourself like access into a place or.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this reminds me a lot of the Thief games, because it was more like this, where in between missions, it wasn't go visit a man. In between missions, you just kind of had like a shop basically where you could buy stuff. Though the favors you could buy are cool. I liked it. I like this little aspect. Mm. Basically, you can be like, "Hey, drop a rune for me."
Mm-hmm. Or write the code of a safe on a wall, and then I can retrieve that and open up the safe. I think I always bought all the favors, whether I really felt like I needed them or not.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Always.
Like, unless you're not picking up money, like, what else are you going to spend it on?
Sleepy darts.
Yeah, but you're going to find those.
Man, I'm really not good at this game. I need as many sleepy darts as I can hold.
Well, good
at
news,
least you can expand your sleepy dart pouch in this one, which is great. You can have 15 sleepy darts.
Yeah, you could do that in the main game.
Could you? You could expand the other crossbow, but I don't think you could expand. Or maybe I didn't find the blueprints for it or something.
So, thus starts the first mission, the Captain of Industry. It takes place on Slaughterhouse Row, which I like a lot. I feel like this level, more than any other, kind of gave me a taste of like real working class Dunwall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like a sort of dock area with working class apartments and things.
This is
And-
probably like the best design level in the whole like environment or ecosystem of the like all the first game plus DLCs. Best level out of all of them, I think.
Yeah, I did like this level a lot. It was a fun design. There's so many ways to get into that slaughterhouse. I like that. I did fall a lot. I don't know why. There's some things that you can like hop onto. You can't stand on, like those little dangling polyhedral things. They're like they're not lights. They just
The
sort of dangle.
speakers.
Oh, is that what they are? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
they're the
keep
speakers for
standing
those
on those and you
announcements.
just fall off.
Yeah, they aren't sturdy enough. Doubt's powers are a little bit different than Corvo's. He has blink, but it stops time when you're aiming your blink, which I think is very,
Yeah.
very useful.
I noticed that just failing mission 2. Like I was trying to blink out because I kept getting caught by those guards over and over, and I wanted to Mr. Bean it, so I just ran away every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey,
So-
things slow down when you blink.
Yeah. So we
What
meet
else? Hang on.
Billy-
What else does he have? I know he's got something that I thought was fucking fantastic, but now I can't remember what it was.
See, he's got slow time. He has the
He doesn't have the
summon
rat
assassin.
plague.
Summon assassin.
Oh, the summon assassin is fucking. It's so fucking good as a distraction. Like it's so good to just drop an assassin in the middle of a thing, and then you can sit back and just like pick them off one at a time. That one's fantastic.
I didn't realize how big of a leeway for low chaos the game really gives you. You can kill quite a few people without going high chaos, which is good to know. And especially playing as Dowd, you're like, well, this guy's a murderer anyways, and it gives you less non-lethal skills, like you don't have rat possession and stuff. So I feel like the game's like, you can kill a little as a treat. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to kill a little bit at work.
So we meet Billy Lurk on the rooftops, and she tells us that there is a strike underway.
Jim, can I
labor
do a quick
dispute.
aside before we get into the strike?
Okay.
Jim, I was going through my bookmarks bar, like in your browser, and I was editing them because I was like, oh, this show's done, so I can take this off my bookmarks browser. And I was like, oh, what's this one? Log in, and I click on that, and it was for the gay porn site I used to do some work for. And I clicked that at work, and it was bringing up the, like, you can't go there thing.
Yeah.
And I had to write my boss like, hey, sorry about that. I wasn't looking at porn at work. I just thought this was a work sign-on, but it's an old job sign-on.
You should be able to look at a little porn at work.
And they're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. We know you don't do that at work. And I was like, yeah, but I just felt so embarrassed.
Aw.
Because I just assume anytime it gives you that, hey, don't go to this domain, that it's going to like send messages to your bosses that you were trying. I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
think
true.
that's what happens, but I think it ends up in like a queue somewhere for
Yeah.
potential like security violations.
Yeah. I just felt very embarrassed. I sent them the gif of Picard face palming because I felt very
You should
embarrassed.
emailed them and been like, this place is bullshit. I can't even sign on to my favorite website. What is this, communist China?
I thought that would have gone over great.
Yeah.
So, this slaughterhouse, there's Vanessa. Tell us about the strike action. What's going on?
So the workers are upset about the conditions in the slaughterhouse, and they're trying to organize.
They're mad
labor.
about how great their boss is and how excited they are to go to work every day.
They are. I mean, obviously, we are on the side of the boss. The workers are lazy. They don't want to work anymore, and the boss has replaced them with some really great workers in the form of the Hatter Gang.
in the happiest, fun way, did you know working at a slaughterhouse is literally one of the worst jobs for your mental health?
That's what I've heard. It's also very physically dangerous, and people are injured pretty severely all the time.
And it's bad for airborne pathogens too, because people will have to work like super close to each other.
Mm-hmm. And many times, the conditions are unsanitary or don't have adequate safety supervision in a way that then leads to unsafe consumables being released into the market in a fun way.
In a fun way. Yeah. So who's Billy Lurk?
Who's Billy Lurk?
Yeah.
Well, Billy Lurk is only Dowd's right-hand lady.
She's pretty cool. She has like a sassy demeanor about her. She's always got something to say about like because she's like there all the time. Like whenever you turn a corner or go into a new area, she's like, "Oh yeah, I got this. This person sucks." Yeah.
She just poofs into appearance. She's like, "Poof, it's me, Billy Lurk."
I like Billy Lurk.
In Dowd's power set, even though the outsider told us there were only 6 people who can use his magic, obviously his assassins can, but it implies
They
that
don't
that's
have his
because
mark,
they're tied
though.
to Dowd somehow.
Yeah. He says there's 6 people who bear his mark.
Oh, yeah, that is a slight difference.
Yes.
Huh.
And
So then how did these, like, 24 assassins under Dowd's
just
command have these powers?
I just said. It's because they are tied to Dowd's power. So they
That
sort
makes
of
sense
get
based
their
on the
power
powers
from him.
Dowd has. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yes.
you can actually get an ability that shares more of your abilities with
Yeah.
your assassins, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I got all of that, and it was a lot of fun.
I really have low expectations for DLC, which isn't fair. But a lot of times they just feel like super cheap. You know, they won't have the same kind of cinematics and stuff. But the DLC for this game just feels as good as the rest of the game. And that's
Yeah.
really impressive.
I think
Certainly from
that's
like a
true.
gameplay perspective, I found Dowd to be much less enjoyable as a character.
Oh, really?
Corvo
I
barely
felt like
has a
playing
character.
as-
He never
I
says
think-
anything.
I think because his powers feel they're so similar to Corvo's, but they're not like as developed as like I said, upgraded Corvo stuff. You know, like it felt like I was picking up like someone else's half done character.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I agree with to expand on that. It is frustrating to play the DLC and for it to be like, and now your powers are back at 0.
Also, Dowd is supposed to be like a super assassin. He should have super upgraded powers.
Yeah. All he can do is blink. Like that's it. That's his whole.
Squarely against this DLC.
So, canonically, at this time when the outsider says that 6 people bear his mark, Corvo hasn't been marked yet because he's still in jail.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I wonder who those other
Oh,
5
yeah.
people are. I guess
Granny
Granny Rags is one.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always like it when stories and games do things like this. Like in Borderlands, there's the mythology that there's only, I think, 4 or 6 sirens at a time, and when one dies, another one is born. Sort of like the Buffy Slayer thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting to see all the different, like when the different sirens show up in that game. They're
Yeah.
always ladies, and they always have like weird mystical tattoos, and it's really cool. I don't know. There's something about that kind of mythology I really like.
Did any of you ever see the Borderlands movie that came out?
You know,
No, I'm waiting
might
for
go
it
see
to be.
It's,
Yeah.
it
I'm
should
waiting-
hit Netflix pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm
right?
waiting for it to
feels
hit
like it's gonna
Netflix or
be a
something.
Netflix.
Well, who was the producer of the film? That tells you.
I mean, it was Lionsgate,
Dunno?
right?
Oh, yeah, then that does feel like a Netflix
Yeah.
or Prime. They like to buy bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll watch it when I don't have to pay money for it.
I hope that.
Yeah.
I think it didn't do as badly as some movies did, and I just want Lionsgate to stay alive because they make weirder movies.
They
that
do,
are usually
yeah.
Not. They're usually mid-budget, and so it's sort of rare that they're the smaller. There's so many.
A lot
there's so
a
few
lot of like
smaller places.
non-franchise films. Which
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They try out different things, and it's not just Marvel movies.
Yeah,
and,
I agree.
So I want them to stay alive.
Excuse
Also,
me.
they're
This
from
is a
Vancouver.
positive episode. Are you talking shit about Disney? Also, they make Star Wars movies. Why don't you? Which are equally great, and I love.
Yeah, that
Yeah, we
Solo
love
was real good. You know,
How's
it was
that,
all right.
here's some hot gaming news. Star Wars has announced that they've hired yet another person to make yet another trilogy of Star Wars movies. This is the third trilogy of Star Wars movies that they've announced that they're making.
Isn't there a Rey sequel coming out pretty soon?
That is not coming out pretty soon. It has now been delayed. It has not started shooting yet.
Oh,
wow.
dear.
And they did announce that they had hired Rian Johnson to do a trilogy, and that seems to have gone nowhere. And then they
Yeah.
announced that they had hired Taika Waititi to do a trilogy, and that seems to have gone nowhere. And then they
Thank
announced that they
God.
were doing.
Flush that down the toilet.
Don't agree with that at all. Either of them, frankly, whichever one you're talking about. But then they announced that they were doing 3 movies. One was going to be a Mandalorian movie, one was going to be a Rey movie, and one was going to be I don't know what they call it, old Jedi prequely 1,000 Years in the Past movie.
Old Republic?
And
High Republic,
Old
probably,
Republic, High Republic. The only one of those that actually seems to be being made is the Mandalorian movie, which makes sense because they already have all the costumes and actors, and I mean, just the laziest thing possible, basically.
Yeah.
More like Mandalorian.
Hey, just stop
Wow.
making Star Wars stuff, except for Andor Season 2, and I'll be fine.
Blandaborian.
Okay, that Skeleton Crew show does look like it could be good, though, right?
The one with the little kids?
Yeah,
baby
it looks like
show?
a...
Star Wars
that
for
Skeleton
babies?
Crew show does look good. I
It's
watched
got a
that
real,
extended
like,
trailer
Amblin
they came out with the other
entertainment.
day, and I was like, you know what? I like
Yeah.
this.
Wait,
It's
so
got
Also,
a
it
real,
has
like,
a-
90s
It has
feel.
Jaleel White in it, Steve Urkel himself.
That's right.
Whoa, that's Sonic himself.
Yeah.
I went out recently and watched a soccer game at noon at a pub with some friends, and one of
Saw
them brought
Jaleel White.
his young child along, and we were talking about Star Wars, and even his young child was like, why did that show get canceled? And I was like, I don't know. It was really good.
Sonic?
The Acolyte.
Oh.
Yeah, I liked Acolyte. So, the slaughterhouse is closed because of the strike, and there are guards in the streets preventing the workers from going there. There's also some arc pylons and a wall of light. So we're going to have a tricky time getting into there. But not that tricky, because we have magical powers. So we just have to work our way down the street, past some guards. There's different sneaky ways you can go, and then sneak into the slaughterhouse yard. One way into the yard is via a nearby apartment, and in there you can find a recipe for some delicious soup.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a delicious soup recipe.
Whose recipe is
from our
it?
It's from Granny. It's
Yeah, Matt,
Granny's
you love making
delicious
Granny
soup.
Rags' soup.
I made Granny Rags' soup.
This soup recipe, she wants a weeper and a whale eye.
Yep,
Shouldn't be
Weeper and a whale
problem.
eye.
Oh, that's why you needed. I was wondering why you needed that. I only found the recipe in the next part, and that was really fun. I felt so smart solving that.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, that one's
That's
complicated.
a tricky one.
Mhm.
So you go into the slaughterhouse yard. There are some laborers that are imprisoned in sort of a wall of light area that you can set free. And if you do, one of them will give you his key card to get into the front door. But you don't have to go into the front door of the slaughterhouse. There are other ways. Matt, how did you get into the slaughterhouse?
I actually went up the well, I don't remember, the right side of the building. You can move a chain so that it is dangling in front of a door, like a hatch up at the top of the building, and then you can come in from the roof.
I did have to put a couple of people to sleep, so I could do that. But yeah, because you do have to get a whale oil bottle, which the a lot of the buildings have. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
you cannot blink with the whale oil bottle. So I did have, but fortunately, I put most of the guards in the area to sleep, so it wasn't a big deal getting it over there.
It actually is pretty easy if you kill every single living person in the area first.
But why would you do that? That's mean.
Yeah, why would Dowd, the renowned assassin who seems to have no care for human life, kill all the people in his way on the way to his goal.
Assassins kill the people that they're hired to kill. They don't just kill random people.
That's a hitman. This is an assassin. Not the same thing. Jim has gotten up and sat down and gotten up 4 times in a row.
Yeah,
now he's going
very
over
busy.
to his drinks fridge. He's
Yeah.
getting something from his drinks fridge.
Oh my God, it's a
Someone's gonna
human
make
head.
Drink. Oh, it is. Oh my
Oh.
God.
He's just giving it a little kiss and he put it back.
He's drinking out of the human head.
Oh,
that's
well,
just
fun.
a silly looking cup. I'm sorry.
So
He's
Vanessa,
closing
did
his little
you?
fridge. He's
did you
patting
take-
the dog. Sorry.
Isn't that Chungus?
He's taking his pants off. Fuck it. Come on, Jim.
He said that Rocket was on the bed too.
He's not wearing any
Someone.
socks. Look, he's barefoot.
He's
It's
not-
cold.
he-
He's gonna
oh,
catch
show
your
feet.
death. So Vanessa, did you steal the key card? Because so there's time cards that they've stolen from or taken from all the workers, even ones that want to go in and work because they want to make sure that employees do not have access to the slaughterhouse during the strike. And the guards are like bragging about it, and there's a lot of every guard here pretty much has a key card or time card. I hope we haven't dropped any around our guard areas.
Yeah, I got one I think from the safe in the guard office. This is one of the favors you can ask for. You can have someone write the code to the safe on this back wall in the yard. You go, it is behind like some planks, so you have to break those without drawing attention to yourself. And then you can go to the office and use the code to open the safe, and there's a key card in there, or a punch card.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, how'd you get into this slaughterhouse?
I think I zapped like to the second. There's like an adjacent building. I zapped to the top of that adjacent. There's a guy in a rowboat, I think, across the canal that you can talk to.
Oh wow!
A rowboat? I didn't see this guy.
There's a guy in a boat. Like, if you go like to the left side of the level, there's a building that's across from the slaughterhouse. If you go, if you look out in the water, there's a guy in a rowboat out there.
Yeah.
You can go talk to the guy in the rowboat. And then I went from the rowboat. You can kind of go around all the guards and just zip straight in from there.
Did you go through the sewer?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
To get through that main gate, I just went over through the building. When you, I guess on the right side, you can go in through some windows and can go across some roofs, and then you run into Billy there, and she tells you sort of about the layout of the place, and because she scoped it out before, and then I just hopped over the wall.
Nice. Yeah, I went in through the upper door, and if you do that, you sort of come into this little office area, and there's some big crates there, and Billy will kind of pop in and be like, "Oh, look at these big human-sized crates that are all addressed to
missed
be
that.
shipped to the other side of Dunwall, or not even Dunwall, to the Isles or whatever." And one of them is just kind of lying open there, and you're like, human-sized crate, eh?
And you find a journal thing that adds it to your like ideas of what to do.
Yeah. Idea about crate.
It's
so
pretty
now-
interesting how you can approach this from so many directions, and it's all laid out so that you can, infiltrate from all these different ways.
Yeah.
I read about the crates, but I couldn't find them. And by the time that I maybe could have found them, the opportunity to use the crates was closed in a
I
very
see.
funny way.
So now we're inside the slaughterhouse, and there are some enemies in here that we haven't seen before. They have, I guess, like chainsaws, essentially, that
Some
they're
of them-
using to...
Yeah, there's the butchers, and then there's the guys with like the mini guns that have little chargy backpacks. They look like Wolfenstein enemies.
Yeah, those butcher guys are scary.
They are scary. They are all scabs, which is great. People should have a right to the work. And
Wow.
then we Matt's shaking his head. I've gone too far down the positivity.
I thought you were going to say, so it's fine and you can explode them and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, you
Well-
can kill your way through this level, and it's fine because they're all a bunch of assholes. Vanessa,
Yes.
excuse me, Your Majesty.
Yes.
Did you ghost your way through the DLC?
I tried.
Oh,
What happened?
I think unlike the main game, which I did manage to ghost entirely, there was at least one point. It's not in this level. It might not even be in this DLC. I think in the next DLC, I didn't get the ghost achievement, and I just let it go. I was like, that's okay.
yeah.
I
you did
don't
it
have
for
to
the
be
main game.
perfect.
Yeah.
But I did.
I mean, how can you be the Imperial Majesty if you're not, though?
Because even leaders have flaws.
Even
Wink.
heroes have the right to bleed.
I did clean hands my way through this DLC because Dowd, he's had enough killing. He's changed.
God.
Killing the Empress changed things.
Jim, how
He
do you
wants to
feel
be
about
a-
this?
Feel about what?
Never mind.
Okay.
I will say that, like, doing a clean hands run, the outsider does start making fun of Dowd to a certain extent. He's like, what are you doing? You're not acting like yourself. And he says, do you think that you can stop what's coming for you by, like, trying to be good now? But you can't. It's too late. You made your bed. You're going to
What's
have
coming
to lie
for
in it.
him?
Corvo.
Death comes to all of us, so, like, what's the difference?
That's true. That's a great point. So we're in the slaughterhouse. It sucks in here, but I love it because it really, highlights the whale industry, which is the heart of Dunwall. And it's bloody, it's gross, and it doesn't get any grosser than the big old whale killing floor. The harvesting room, as they call it. And here we get to meet a real live whale.
This
Yay!
level was very confusingly designed.
Really?
I thought it was.
It's just a big
I
old
had
warehouse.
Issues sort of navigating the warehouse a little bit.
I had some
It's
issues getting
essentially-
out of it.
Oh, yeah. Like finding your way back out.
You
Yeah.
can go out the way you came in.
I tried
Okay.
to, but I ended up having a lot of people following me. I still got out eventually, but it was just a real Mr. Bean escape from this slaughterhouse. With everyone
the
chasing me
harvesting
like
room-
a Benny Hill episode.
In the harvesting room, we meet the whale. The whale's hanging out, sort of literally. It's like hung up on a thingy.
It does provide an ambient soundtrack to this area.
Yeah, because it is alive, which is fine. And we can find sort of notes about how to use the whale oil juicing machine. And it tells us, hey, juice the whale just a little bit, but don't juice it too much or the whale will die. And we can get more whale oil by having it die slowly rather than
It
quickly.
was Sokolov that makes all these machines because he gets the whale juice, a little bit of whale juice in return for helping provide all this technology. And he wrote that note.
Why would you need to do this when there are literally like several jars of whale oil sitting around the level?
Because that's for using, and they want whale oil for selling.
They
I
want
see.
fresh oil. Like
Fresh,
what?
good
Like
oil.
what Vanessa takes spoonfuls of.
That's right. So, Jim, what'd you do with this whale?
I
It
cooked
does finally explain that weird fishy smell that comes out of Vanessa's quarters in the Square Roots house, you know?
Quarters.
Well, yeah, we have rooms. She has quarters.
She has a wing. She has an entire
Yes. I have a wing that contains both quarters and chambers.
wing.
Don't wings always contain quarters and chambers?
Depends on what kind of wing it is. What if it's the
True.
wing
I
of a
guess that's true.
library?
What if it's
Yeah.
a business wing? There are no quarters in the business wing. That's business
Except
only,
the
bro.
ones that go in the vending machine, right?
Hey!
Oh.
Ones if
Do
it's
your,
a
do
one-winged
your laugh,
angel.
Jim. Ha 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 ha.
Once I worked in a place that was like, a normal place, and there was normal stuff around, except for down in the basement, in the like maintenance area, there was one vending machine that had normal like store-bought cans of soda pop for 25 cents each.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
20 I had at my work when I worked in LA, they had a vending machine with all sorts of sodas, and you could just get a card that give you as many as you want.
Yeah, many places are like that, like
I've never
Microsoft campus.
only
At least
American
back in the day, just had
place,
everything.
No place in Canada gives you free soda. Or maybe that's not true. Honestly, I've never worked at a like large business in Canada.
Yeah.
so.
I worked at one place and they didn't have free soda because they felt that was unhealthy, but they had free juice.
Like juicy juice, like regular
Like orange
sugar
juice?
filled
Yeah,
orange juice.
Yeah, like apple juice and orange juice and
Okay,
That
I
was bad
mean,
for you.
listen, all that sugar's bad for you, but at least it's got like vitamins and minerals in it.
yeah,
Unlike
it's
fucking
got something.
What are you
soda
talking
pop,
about?
which is a phrase that we apparently use on this show.
They also had coffee and hot chocolate, so they weren't that healthy.
So I heard from some of the guards that they were holding a lady hostage, and I went into. It was very easy to get into those offices. Those offices.
Well, sorry, Johnny, I don't mean to
Oh.
cut you off about this, but did we really get into this whale?
Oh, I
You can,
electrocuted the whale.
you can go inside of it?
If you
You can't go
want
inside
to,
of it.
yeah, it's like
I
Pinocchio.
electrocuted it because I felt bad for the whale. I wish you could just save it, but then I saw after I electrocuted it, I saw the underside. I was like, oh yeah, there's no saving that.
Yeah.
Here's
this
the
is one of
question
those,
for the group that I think needs to be asked: is
Yeah.
did you think that the whale's labia was too large, or was that the right size?
I'm not a whale. You know, I feel like it's up to other. But even then, I don't think other whales should judge the size of one whale's labia. Like I don't know, it's fine. It's just what you're born with. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think that as long as the labia is functioning in the way it is intended, which is to keep your more tender lady bits safe and snug, then it's fine.
To keep your insides from falling out, is I
Yeah.
believe the function of that organ.
But of course, as we know, it doesn't work, and that's called a period.
What?
There
Gotta
was
update my notes.
there was one guy who, several years ago, got a lot of traction for kicking around the idea of this labia glue that you could use during your period and just glue your
Yeah.
labia together, and that would
Yeah.
prevent it from coming out.
That makes a lot of sense.
That
That
makes-
makes
That sounds
a
really
nothing but
healthy.
sense.
You know what? Toxic glue. Take some
super
toxic
healthy.
glue your labia shut, and just let that stuff just back up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I also. Why did he not come out with asshole glue? You know, what's the
Yeah.
fucking difference?
Yeah. Stop you from having diarrhea.
I don't need asshole glue. I got the tightest cheeks you can imagine.
Sorry, we have a phrase for that now, Vanessa. We don't use uncouth terms like diarrhea, Your Majesty. They're called brown tears.
You're right.
Ass tears.
And besides, you don't need glue for
Those
that.
are
Just
ass
like
tears.
eat a deep dish pizza and then order extra cheese with it. It's pretty much the same. Same results. Nothing's coming out of there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, just like with the art collector at the Golden Cat,
I'm sorry.
we zap this whale with electricity.
I did want to say I, in my playthrough, of course, had to execute the whale
Uh-huh.
so that I could get its delicious eyeball for Granny's stew.
Yes. Once the whale is dead, you can pry its dead, glazed over eye out of its head.
Did you
and
do
put it
that,
right in your
Vanessa?
pocket. Yeah, I took its eye. I mean,
So how's this no-kill run going for you then?
you're allowed to kill a whale.
They're sentient creatures.
No kill
can
only
sing,
applies
Are they?
talk.
to humans.
Excuse
You can
me.
kill-
I'm sorry. Let me just back it up.
Yeah.
Are whales sentient creatures?
Yes, 100%. They are fucking smart, and I think it is a shame to kill them because they're just people. They're just people without legs. They're whale people.
I myself also
Love whale meat.
Ew.
love whales.
It's a delicacy
uh,
that Her
however,
Majesty eats on the reg.
I don't think they should be commercially killed at all, but I know that there are some indigenous people who really rely on taking 1 or 2 whales a year, and I don't want to be up on my pedestal being like, don't do that. Just starve instead.
Can whales play video games?
I don't know.
I
don't
think
they
that they
want
probably
to.
could, but they don't want to.
They can swim through the ocean, Matt. What do you think they're going to do? Play video games or swim through the ocean? Because
They can
it's
swim
amazing.
through the whole ocean. They
Yeah.
can get a
Talk
bunch
to
of
each
plankton
other.
in their baleen. They can
They
sing
got
to
their
each other.
sonar songs, so they can tune into different songs. And there's sonar Jenny from the block doing her whale songs. And
I mean, cats meow at each other. Do you think that they are sentient?
I genuinely do think that whales exhibit signs of extreme intelligence compared to dogs or cats.
Like an elephant.
Yeah, like an elephant,
dolphin.
or a dolphin, or an octopus. I don't think you should eat any of those. That's my hot take.
It was a
My
great
hot take
Johnny.
is that
Thank
those
you.
all sound delicious.
Wow. So, Johnny, please tell us what happened in the office. I cut you off to talk about this whale.
Well,
Well.
I went into the office, and there was a lady.
Jim was
having-
there, and he was making out with Pam, and they were just fucking dunking on Dwight. And Dwight was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Michael!
Hey, you know that autistic coworker we have? He sucks. Let's do pranks on him.
Sorry. Can we not ascribe
I'm joking.
mental disorders
It was
to
a-
characters from TV shows?
It was a joke.
That don't ever actually make that canon?
It was a joke, Matt. It's a bit. Doing a zany bit. Anyway, so inside the
Doing a
office, what's the
zany bit
name
about
of Slaughterhouse Man, Vanessa?
The name of Slaughterhouse Man is...
Rothwild.
Kurt Vonnegut.
Rothwild.
Rothwild.
like squirt Vonnegut.
Got
I don't know
him.
what that means.
So he was having a chat with Abigail, and he's like, "So who's your boss?" She's like, "I don't have a boss. What are you talking about? I'm an innocent lady. All I want is for workers to be treated better." And he's like, "Oh yeah, then who do you work for?" And she's like, "What? You mean the guy I work for that I'm doing this for? I don't work for anyone except for the guy that I work for."
Yeah.
And you'll oopsie. And he's like, "I knew it." Then I shot Rothwild in the head with a tranquilizer dart.
Oh, phew. I thought you were almost about to say that you shot him in the head with a real bullet.
Do you think if
No.
you shoot somebody in the skull with a tranquilizer dart,
Tranquilizer
Tranquilizer dart.
Oh, go sweepy.
Yeah, he takes sweeties.
Oh,
A night dart.
Oh, did you get a little tranquilizer dart, buddy?
I don't know if it penetrates the skull, Matt. I feel like if it penetrates the skull, that'd be pretty
they're
bad.
dead.
But well, no,
They're fucking
you
dead.
You can live with a needle in your skull. You can live with a pipe going through your skull. Look at
What about a
Don't
needle
try
that's
that at
pumping
home.
fucking toxin into your brain? Do you think it still is good then, or
I mean, it's that green glowy fantasy toxin. Who knows what it does? Anyway,
point.
so I knock him out, and then she's like, "Oh, Dowd, huh? What are you doing here? I can pay you not to kill me." And I'm like, I'm not here to kill you. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "Oh, cool. He's like, you're like, I'm here to find out about his boat." And she's like, "I know all about his boat. All you have to do is do a favor for me." And you're like, "What kind of favor?" And she says, "Just blow up this factory a little. Just blow it up."
what you gonna do with all that boat? All that boat up in your
And
throat?
she's like, "All the workers, they aren't here except for the butchers, but they suck, and the guards, and who cares about them? They're not even people. Don't even worry about
well,
it."
if you're mad, they're all dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. This warehouse is empty of life.
Except for one man still driving and striving as fast as he can. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "Here, take this key," which I have on me, this giant key that I have on me. That was pretty funny because it's like a foot long.
Well, it's not really a key; it's like a wrench.
She calls it a key.
But that's what you call a little wrench sometimes. Like
Yeah,
a
like
key,
An Allen,
right?
like an Allen key.
Yeah,
Like a
like
hex
I've
key?
got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. It's like that song. I love that song.
Wait,
I'm too
I like that
young
song,
to
too.
understand what
Yeah, I don't
that
understand what
kind
they're
of thing
talking about.
means.
why would you
I
need
had
a
to learn
key?
about it. It's because old roller skates used to just like go over your existing shoes, and so you would like put them over your shoe, and they
Sorry.
would like open and close.
Your Majesty, I didn't actually ask. I don't care.
I want to share my knowledge. I want to show off how trivial my mind is. So you put the roller skate over your shoe, and then you tighten it up with the roller skate key, which was like an Allen key.
That is legitimately not what I thought that was. That's
What it
weird.
was.
Yeah.
And aren't
What
you
a
happy
weird,
that you know that
stupid
now?
thing. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm happy that I know that.
Now you understand the song about why she was happy that the
Now I
man
know,
she liked
understand the
has a key.
song.
Now you know, understand
Now
the song.
you know, understand the song. So she's like, "Go do that. You can leave Rothwild here. He's fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, fuck the Rothschilds, right?
Rothwild.
Oh, sorry.
I had a guy. There was a guy. He was a used car like dealer. So he would buy he basically would buy the trades that you didn't want at your dealership, and
Yeah.
take them and do things with them. And he told me that the Rothschilds were actually vampires.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I don't know. I did what she asked. She seemed reasonable. She's like, "No one who matters or are even really people will die." Police said, "Don't even worry about it." And
Don't even worry about it.
so I went and started screwing those things. And then I went back to the office for some reason. I was like, "Oh, is there something I need to check out here?" Vanessa,
said
do you
hi
know
to
what
Jim and Pam.
happens if you go back in the office, leaving poor Rothwild with her?
Probably he's fine because she said he'd
You
be
find
fine.
you find them kissing.
No, she's like, "Oh,
He's probably criticizing the size of her labia. I know.
you were like," she's like, "Hey, so Rothwild, like, I guess you were a little
Too
rough with
small.
him, or like he had a heart attack or something because he's dead." And you
Oh,
go and
no.
you see his body, and there's just an ice pick sticking out of his neck, back of his neck. And I'm like, I don't remember doing that to him, sticking an ice pick
do
in his
that?
neck. What do you think happened, Vanessa? What, like, did he trip and
probably.
fall?
Yeah, he probably after you left, he got up, and I think he was like, "Oh man, that tranquilizer dart sure did make the back of my neck itchy, and so he just grabbed like the closest thing and was giving himself a good little scratch, and then he probably fell backwards onto the ice pick.
That must be it.
I took a slightly different route. When I saw them arguing, I just immediately sort of knocked him out, and then she made me her offer. And then I was like, that's an interesting offer. Let me offer you a counter proposal. And I knocked her out with a sleep dart, because that's what she gets for suggesting that my clean hand dowd would ever blow up a whole bunch of innocent hatters.
They're not. It doesn't. They weren't even people. Don't worry about it.
So then I tried to look around the office and couldn't find anything that would tell me about the Delilah. So I did take Rothwild, his unconscious body, and I took him down to a little room I'd found before where he keeps another zappy chair, not for a whale, but for a human being. And this is the chair he uses to talk to his workers when they're thinking about organizing labor and get like information about
It's
it.
the
So
labor
I put
dispute discussion arbitration chair.
Yeah, arbitration chair. So I took him in there, and then Billy pops in, and she's like, I'll make sure you're not disturbed. I put him in his arbitration chair, and I zapped him a little bit until he told me about Delilah. And he said that the Delilah ship was named by this guy named Timish, who was obsessed with some woman named Delilah.
Now, this is
Give him the old
same
Imperial
brand.
zap.
This is the same brand of zappy chair that you'll find in, say, the House of Pleasures or whatever it's called. So
The Golden Cat.
you do find that a note that says "Don't use it 4 times," just like that chair.
Yeah. And so, of course, I did not. I zapped him 3 times, after which he told me what I wanted to know and passed out. And then I thought, well, I need to put him somewhere safe. This lady is going around trying to blow up his factory. I know the safest place in here is this human-sized crate.
Oh my God! Did you sell
that's
another person into sex slavery?
to be shipped somewhere across the aisle. So I put him in the crate. I closed up the lid and nailed it shut, and he is ready for shipment. And off he'll go just as soon as the postman shows up.
What did you
To
do
live
with
with his
Abigail?
new husband.
Abigail, I just left in that office. And I think I
Okay.
did go back, and then she was just gone. So I think she woke up and left.
Woke up?
Did the walk of shame.
She
do you
did the
mean
walk
woke
of
up?
shame.
Vanessa, did you knock out Abigail?
I did knock her out because
Yeah, she
that's
said
what
she hit him with
gets.
sleep dart.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So I
Then-
put all 4 valves in. I turned them. Once you get to valve 3, things are already pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
things are exploding all over the place. And then
Oh, no.
the final 4th valve, that room still had living guards in it, so I did have to like knock out one, and then I shouldn't have even bothered with wasting good sleep darts since they're gonna die anyways. But I had to knock out one guy and then get out of there. And then you basically so as soon as I turned that 4th crank and then talked to Abigail, for whatever reason on my way out, I just got alerted every guard in that place, and they were just all chasing after me, and yakety sax started playing, and I was trying to like zap. They were somehow following me even though I was blinking and trying to get away real fast. They were just on my tail right up until I got
Wow.
out of that crane door, the one that I came in through. It was a tough chase.
You're real mad about your valve work. Well, I just sneaky snuck out of there, and I knocked out basically everyone in the factory at this point, so it wasn't a problem. And then on our way back out, we can stop by the apartment we found and make Granny's special soup. It's pretty easy. You just have to pop your whale oil, or your whale eye, in the pot, and then we need to find a weeper, and there's a couple of weeper corpses around. So you just get one of those, you bring it in there, And then her soup does a little magical boil and turns into a rune for you.
I missed. Listen to me. I'm so fucking stupid. I missed this rune.
Oh, no.
I did the whole thing. And then when I got to the end of the level, it was like, you missed a rune. And I was like, how could that be possible? I looked it up. Oh, the soup turns into a rune.
Yeah. You just made the soup and you're like, there you go, Granny. Whenever you come on back, enjoy your soup.
Pretty dumb. All right, listen, we somehow have 2 fucking chunks left of this, so let's rip through this, Vanessa.
Pick
Your
up the pace,
Majesty.
yep. Billy is being harassed by some
And maybe John and Jim will stop interrupting you.
Billy is being harassed by some overseers, so we just need to take them out and
Kill them all? How dare they?
Yep. You can use your choke powder and throw it down there, and they'll start coughing and be distracted.
That shit
enough.
is so fucking handy. I wish I had had this in the main game. This is one of the best additions because it just takes like 5 dudes and makes them all stand there going, which AKA easy targets for crossbow bolts in the brain.
Mm-hmm. And it also it lets Billy just teleport away because they stop playing their overseer music and she can go. Right,
I was out of sleepy darts, so I use splody darts instead at this point.
Oh, I used regular darts and shot him in the face.
Yeah, it's really effective if you shoot them in the face.
Yeah. I read some really interesting wiki articles on their little music box that they play.
Oh, tell us about that.
Which was really neat. So they're only a select few of these they're overseers, right? Is that what they are?
Mm.
Only a select few in a remote location that very few people have access to know how to build them. And apparently they are built with what they would consider like heretical materials, and it's kind of an imperfect science how they're built. Like they kind of don't really understand how they work, but they know that they're effective against like outsider or void magic, I think is what they call it. And they're only made on demand. So they're not like made and kept somewhere. They're only made if they need to be used, which I thought was interesting.
It is.
Sorry.
Is it?
It is. I'm sorry. I got distracted. My cat distracted me. She's like clawing around at my shit. It is. The music boxes are garbage and I hate them. And I hate the fact that you can't drop down behind these fucking people and just stab them for some reason.
Can
Are they
you
covered
not
in plate
Mario
mail?
jump on them?
Well,
No.
I think that their music box is metal, so you can't stab through that. And then maybe like the straps they wear on their back is also metal. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
They're
either.
an Iron Man suits of armor, basically. It's garbage. I'm sorry. This is the positivity episode. It's garbage. Your Majesty, please continue.
Yes, it's time to move on. We're going to go see Timish and see what we can learn from him about Delilah. We arrive in a new area. Billy tells us that there is a woman named Thalia who wants to meet with us before we go talk to Timish. This area has a whole bunch of city guards in the streets, and then there are some hatters around too that are sort of clashing with the guards. We find a little courtyard, and Talia's hanging out there with a hatter who is threatening her. He's basically saying, like, you shouldn't be out here alone, this obviously rich woman, and she just launches in with, Dowd is coming to meet me, and you're gonna be sorry. And he's like, why would a famous assassin come to meet you? There's no way he's coming here. Never gonna happen. Which is a really fun time to shoot him in the head.
Yeah, it is. I did the same thing. And bloop, there goes your brains. There's 2 guys on the roofs above him, so if you take them out first, it's even better.
Yeah, I did that, and then his backup never came, and you can talk to Talia, and she says, hey, listen up, I want you to steal the will to my grandmother's will. I'm Timish's niece. And if you do this, I will tell you all about Delilah. But you have to bring me the will. We also need to find a key in order to travel to the estate district. And you can go check the city watch office, but it's been taken by the Hatters. Oh, no. Hatters.
This whole thing was so. I was like, okay, here's the gate to the other level. I'll just. And there's a note. The captain has the key. There's a note on the door. So it's like, okay, I'll go find the captain. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Oh, there's the captain. Let me knock him out. His note said there's the key rack's empty and there's a Hatter hat there. And if you pick that up, Michael Madsen's like, looks like the Hatters got to this key before me. I was like, shut up! Come on! But fortunately,
Fetch Quest Palooza is what I would call this area.
Fortunately, the Hatters were all sleeping. I'd already put them all to sleep way
nice.
before.
Yeah, so you just have to go to where the Hatters are hiding out in this building and find Chauncey, who was
Chauncey?
wounded after he
Chauncey?
stole the key. Yep, Chauncey. And he is dead.
Yeah,
so it's
he's
very easy to get the key off
super
him.
dead. Okay, so how did you all get past? And I know we're going to be quick, so this is a quick question. That initial wall of light to get into like where Talia and the Hatters are. How did you all get past that? Because this took me half an hour or something. This took me a while.
I think you can just go over if you get up high enough.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I climbed up, but
Maybe I never upgraded his blink. So maybe that's where I did it wrong.
I had the upgraded blink, so I think that you can just go up and over it.
Got to upgrade that blink.
Yeah.
First thing you should be upgrading.
Yeah, you're right. I thought I already had, so then I realized, I was like, why am I not able to get to these high places? So I had to like take the whale oil thing out, and then his slow time. I find his slow time seems better than Corvo's slow time. Like I could run past guards and stuff and seemingly not have an issue, so I use that a lot. I know Jim doesn't believe in slow time.
Jim moves fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think I don't believe in slow time?
You said you never ever use it in this game.
Oh, well, yeah,
Because
not in the main game.
It was both of us. We said never even unlocked it. Never
Yeah.
touched it once.
Did you try it with the DLC then?
Well, it does it kind of automatically when you use your blink, right?
Yeah, but there's also a time power
I didn't use that.
in and of itself. He doesn't believe in it. You're right.
Don't believe it. I mean, it's not. I'm not like philosophically opposed to it. It's just not my play style.
Is this Dishonored or Quantum Break?
It's a good question.
Dishonored. So we get through the gate, and you can find a nobleman sort of hanging out in a building right near the entrance. And if you go talk to him, he's like, "Hey, I bet you're going to go see Timish. I want to hire you for my own little contract. See, Timish kicked me out of my apartment, and I forged some orders to kick him out of his house as a little prank.
He's wearing a cool mask too, but he's not an overseer, right? He's just a guy who likes cool masks.
No, he's wearing like a mask like they wore to Lady Boyle's like costume party, I think.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, so go to my old apartment, find this cool forgery I made, and I also have a sack of very stinky, rotting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to put the sack of stinky, rotting stuff into Timish's HVAC system so that his whole house smells like stinky, rotty stuff. It'll be really funny.
All you have to do is follow this 8-point plan.
This is the same plot as that scene in the Norm Macdonald movie Dirty Work when they get hired to play a prank on that guy's neighbor, and they're like, "We're gonna put a bunch of fish in this guy's house," and the guy comes home while they're doing it, but he's like a drug dealer, and they're like,
Oh yeah, that was great.
they're like, does it smell like fish in here? And they're like, what is that, a code word?
Is that a
and they all
message for the
murder each other.
cops? And so, like at first, they're like it cuts to them outside, and they can hear what's happening inside. They're like,
Yeah.
They're
Well,
like chuckling.
they're like holding these like fish by the tail, and they're like
Yeah.
laughing, and then everybody murders each other, and then they're like tiptoe out of the house, where they're like,
Yeah, their smiles slowly go like, as everyone starts getting shot.
there's all these crazy sound effects. Like one guy has a hand grenade.
That movie is terrible, but I like it.
There's like the scenes that work in it are so fucking funny,
Jim,
but it's overall a pretty bad movie.
someone turned out the lights on you.
Oh yeah,
That's because it's 10 o'clock.
I have a timer on my lights for 10 p.m. I'll turn it back up.
Oh.
It's his bedtime.
You don't have to. We like spooky Jim. Whoa, there's a ghost behind you.
He checked.
No, that's just a dog.
Thank you.
But this
So,
10-point
I
plan
did this.
is way more complicated than I thought and caused me no end of problems.
Oh.
What's so
Yeah, just-
complicated about killing this man and taking the will and the key and...
But this guy doesn't want us to kill him. He wants us to get this letter, swap it out for the letter that Timish always carries with
The man
him.
the man I killed?
Yes.
You killed this nice nobleman in the mask?
Kill everyone.
Oh, but he wasn't doing anything.
By the time I'm done, this city is going to be fucking empty.
Except for the rats and weepers.
Yeah. So you have to go to his apartment, get his note, and he's left a rune there for you as a payment, and his sack of rotten stuff. And then go over to Timish's mansion, which is sort of
You
in
can
the middle
definitely
of the
just
square.
go. You can definitely just go steal this fucking rune. By
That's
the way.
true. And I did this. I did the swap out of Timish's letter, and then put the stuff in the vent. But Johnny, you had more problems, right?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, when you go swap out the letter, you have to go to his bedroom on the 4th floor. Although you can pretty easily get to the 4th floor from the apartment where you find the stinky stuff. That apartment has a lot of dead bodies in it with cool poems about who they, or like little messages about who they were. All these bodies. I like that part a lot. Anyway, so you have to go up a bunch of flights of stairs and get past guards and whatever. That's fine. And then I talked to a statue on the 4th floor, and the statue was Delilah. And that was really
What?
cool. Yeah.
You can't talk to a statue.
Yeah, she's like, hey, I'm not going to do anything because I don't care about this guy. You can do whatever you want with him. He sucks. And then he's like, but don't follow me and don't try to find out who I am because you'll regret it. And then
Wow.
Billy's like, oh, she was a bitch. That was really fun. You also find out a poem about her being like, I'm gonna see through Emily's eyes, speak with her mouth, touch with her hands. I'm gonna be Emily, and no one will ever know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming this poem's just nonsense and has
Yeah, it's just nonsense.
no relation to anything else that happens in this DLC.
Nope.
Anyway, so I had to open you find there that he's sexually harassing a worker and has made the late night cart home to her part of the city impossible to grab, so she has to stay with him because he wants to have sex with her. It's a real bad situation. Did you have to put this lady to sleep, Vanessa?
I didn't have to, but I did anyway, because I like to put everyone to sleep that I possibly can.
Yeah, I had to open the door and just because she after that little scene, she just stands next to him and she's always there. So I kind of just had to blat them with my sleepy darts.
I got to Timish before he went to his bedroom. So
Oh, okay.
When I
That took
went
a long
in,
time.
I heard him talking to some like guards downstairs, and then he and his personal bodyguard start heading up the stairs, but his bodyguard is behind him, so I waited until they had passed me. I hid, and I snuck out, and I knocked out his bodyguard, and then he just kept going along. He was like, doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, oh, footsteps behind me, that must be my bodyguard, but weren't. It was me. And I swapped out his letter and let him go along his merry way. And I also took his key so I could open all the chests in his house.
Well, you have to get the will.
You do indeed.
So
Also, there's like multiple other spots that you need that key for. And it's just
Yeah.
loot, but like, I gotta get that loot.
yeah, you gotta get that loot. I went to the basement first, and I was like, oh, I'll just open up this before anything. The first place I went to the basement, there's a lady there. She's like, oh my God, who are you? Ah! And I just shot her in the face with a trank dart, Vanessa.
Okay.
With
I
an
was about to
incendiary
say.
dart. And burned her face off, and then you were like, my hands are clean.
And then it's like,
Sorry,
well,
that's not how
do
Mr.
you
Bean would
want
say
to?
it. My hands are clean.
Do you want to put the stinky thing in here now, or do you want to wait till you've already taken the thing off of, or swapped out the letter for on what's his name?
Timish. You got to do the letter first.
Yeah, I was like, I guess this
Obviously-
is telling me to do the letter first.
Obviously, we all want to put this stinky thing in first.
No, it said.
no.
Well, so I was like,
What does
okay.
that
So I went
mean?
upstairs.
Do you consider?
know what it
are you
means.
referring to your penis
You
as
know
the
what it
stinky
means,
thing?
Jim.
I went through and knocked out every guard.
You know
on
what it means,
floors.
Jim, because you've told me before that is your
Your stinky thing.
yeah.
pet name for
That's
your
your
penis?
I have
Little
it
stinky?
tattooed in my swimsuit area that says the stinky thing.
Yeah, but he spelled it Thang because he got it like in
Yeah.
the early 2000s.
It's called the stanky thing.
stinky thing.
So I
Yeah,
did
stanky
knock
with an
out
A,
every
thang with
single
an A.
guard
Yeah.
on level 3 and 4 because I'm not very stealthy. I only had I didn't totally replenish my stock of sleepy darts, so I had to like really meet them out and then like choke out people a lot, and it was just tough, Vanessa. It was just tough. And so then I was like, okay, I've swapped out the will, all done, and I went to the docks, and Talia wasn't there. I was like, oh, what did I miss? And then I looked back and it's like, oh, I forgot to put the stinky thing in. So I went
Stinky thing.
I went all the way back to the manor after going to the docks looking for Talia, put the stinky thing in, and things started happening. So I left the house, went back to the docks, and then
Things started happening.
she wasn't there. And then I looked at the to-do list. It's like, don't forget the will. And I'm like, oh. So I had to go all the way back to the house, which is now full of a gajillion guards, and put the stinky. Take the will out of the. I had to that one lawyer. Every time I opened that door to his office, he would get caught in the door, so I could like walk behind him and choke him out. That was great.
Oh. So did you see the little cutscene that happens then if you follow Timish after you put the stinky thing in?
Yeah, I was on a light. I stood on a light and used my like zoom. I was like at the other side of the plaza, but I used my little zoom lens and got to listen in. Why don't you tell us about that?
So this captain of the guard comes and he's like, "Oh, thank you for inviting me to your house. Oh my God, it smells terrible. What is this?" And basically says, "Do you have the plague in your house?" And Timish is like, I think that this letter will explain everything." And he hands over the letter that you swapped, and the guy goes, "This letter is from the Lord Regent, and he says that your house is to be condemned, and it was dated a month ago." He gets really mad. He's like, "Are you trying to show me this to show you're above the law?" Timish freaks out. He's like, "No."
This letter says your house is a stinky thing.
It says your house is stanky. It has to be shut down for too much stank. So Timish starts to freak out. They knock him out and just kind of leave him in the street, and they're like, we'll collect him later. and that's it.
Well, he
Timish's house
faints.
is condemned.
He had a whole faint. You know all
Did
about
he faint?
fainting, Vanessa.
I do. I get the vapors very
Mm-hmm.
easily. I'm such a delicate thing.
So I assume
Jim's the
Matt
stanky
killed
thing.
every
I'm the
single person
Delicate
in
thing,
this house.
Thing.
Matt, am I correct?
Thing with an E.
Did you perform a Jason on everyone in this house? Or were you more
Yeah,
of a
fuck yeah.
ghost face?
Yes, I did it, Jason. I was throwing grenades. It's fun. There are spots in the foyer of this house that you can hang out and like watch the guards rush in and then just kill them all. It's pretty great, actually. The game's more fun. I don't know. I said at the beginning of this series, I said like, I don't know, like I'm gonna try to play high chaos, and you know, like I'm used to sneaking around. And by the end of this game, I was just killing scores of men at a time and just laughing. It was pretty good.
When I first fired up this DLC, I turned it on with mods, and one of the mods is unlimited blink distance. Or when
wow.
but also it's not really unlimited. Maybe like 100 yards, but also it's really fun to just like find a place in the distance and be able to blink there instantaneously. Pretty great. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds fun. And also lame.
Yeah, it sounds like everything. There's also a granny soup recipe in this level. It's very complicated, though. It's really more of a riddle.
Yeah, it was
And-
like 7, 8, and the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
And
know how. Well, like the first thing was I didn't know what it meant. And I didn't know what the recipe was or how this worked. But I did find a tarot deck, and it gave me the option of taking the world. So I was like, oh, okay. And then it told me I just followed the instructions after this. It told me
Yeah.
to burn
Show
it.
the world to the dark-eyed man. I guess. Do you burn it first, or do you show it
You're right.
first?
Yeah, you put it on the dark-eyed. And I figured, I'll just put it there. Like if you go up to his little altar you find in the back of that one lady's apartment with the stinky thing and all the bodies, there's a
Stanky thing.
very obvious bookshelf with like purple light coming from behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So you move that bookshelf, and there's a whole altar. So there you can place the card there, and then it says "burn it" in the greedy man's fireplace, and that was easy. I knew who
Yeah.
they were talking about.
And it turns into a rune.
There is a whole little subplot here about his mom and how he's like basically making her go, and he's gaslighting her.
Mm-hmm.
And making her like the doctor's like, she's not that mentally unsound. She's not. What's the word they use like for someone with like an old person kind of forgetting stuff? Anyway,
Alzheimer's?
yeah,
Sundowning?
Dementia?
yeah. She's not really.
Stanky thing?
She could be a lot more lucid, but the instructions you're giving me are making her worse, and I won't. The doctor quits because he won't be part of it.
Sorry. I meant to say stinky brain.
Yeah. Yeah, give
Oh,
it
yeah.
stanky brain.
You got that stank brain.
Yeah, I like all the details you find out about his life here. You can find out a ton about him and his kind of crappy niece. She's not the greatest either, and they hate each other.
No. Yeah, she also sucks. But we do bring the will back to her, and then she says, yeah, I know who Delilah is. She's this woman who came swanning in. Timish fell completely, like, she doesn't even say, like, in love with her, just, like, he became obsessed and started giving her, like, all his money and everything. And
Yeah, the will was for her too. It was written out to Delilah.
yeah. And then she just left. And
I like how she's like, oh, you didn't kill him. Actually, this isn't bad. This is maybe even better. She
Yeah.
really likes what you did.
yeah, I can work with this. So after this, it's time to head on back to base and collect our thoughts. There's not very much to say about this last level. It's just Dowd's base again. We've already been here in the main
Dowd's
game.
basement?
It is interesting because it does lead directly into our mission in the main game, Corvo's mission here. You get to see the other side of it.
Right. Because as you recall, unless you're Johnny, the Overseers had just attacked Dowd's base.
I
when
swear
Corvo
I
shows
got
up.
through that level without interacting with the Overseers.
You don't have to interact with them. You just have to look around with your eyeballs.
They're everywhere.
They're fucking a bunch of dead Overseers.
I'm just that
you
good.
can't
I'm a
miss.
ghost. Can't see me.
Yeah. So the Overseers are here.
It's a real Mr. Bean thing to say. I'm a ghost, you can't see me.
They thank you for telling us you're a ghost, though, Johnny. You know how much I appreciate honesty in ghosts. There are some assassins who are being held by Overseers, just like Billy was. You can free them if you want to. And then you have to go to your office where Overseer Hume is hanging out and either kill or knock him out. And then you gather your remaining men for a counterattack. And at this point, depending on whether you played low or high chaos, one of two things will happen. If you play low chaos, everyone's like, oh, how could this happen? Someone betrayed us. And Billy will say, hey, actually, best friend Dowd, it was me. I did the betray. I did it because Delilah is really cool and great, and I thought that you had lost your edge after you killed the Empress. You've been super sulky and lame, but seeing you do this crazy work with Timish and putting the guy in the box and everything, that was really great. I don't think you're lame anymore. I'm very sorry I sold you out to Delilah. Then Delilah appears in a puff of smoke, and she's like, it's me, Delilah.
It's me, Delilah.
It's me, Delilah. I heard you've been talking about me. And Billy, you suck for telling the truth. Dowd, you suck for being Dowd. Everybody better leave me alone and not come after me, even though Timish did tell you where I was. I don't want you to come. Okay, goodbye. And she poofs away. And then Dowd has the choice to either kill Billy or let her go. Matt is wandering away before I can ask him what happened in the high chaos. So I'll
He's his butt is crying.
Oh yeah. Jim, did you do high chaos in this? Oh, you didn't.
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't finish it, but or I haven't finished it yet.
Right.
I'll say that. But no, I was playing low chaos.
I got to the
So-
start. I didn't finish this part, but I did get to the start. And Billy did not mention that she was the one who betrayed. So I guess because I
She
did.
only says at the very end. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here comes Matt, and he'll tell us what happened in the high
But
chaos.
I also
ending.
I think I'm at medium chaos, Vanessa, because I did do the
Okay.
blow up.
That's
of
not
the
an option
slaughterhouse.
in the game, just to be clear.
I'm like lukewarm chaos.
Yeah. So.
All right.
There's some light chaos.
I
Matt,
keep
what-
getting older, but they keep dying. The same age, I guess. I don't know.
So Matt, what happens at the high chaos ending in this level?
That asshole Billy is like, fuck you, I love Delilah. And does make me duel her with all of my crows around, which, fuck you. And
Were they even helping?
no, they weren't.
Rude.
The good news is it's really easy. This is not hard in any way, shape, or form. She teleports around the stage, but what is it? I think the minute she hits you with something, you get the location flash on your screen, so you always know where she is. There's something else you can do. It's like a lock-on type thing. I can't remember exactly what it was. Anyway, the long story short, I killed her and did a big old stab right through her fucking neck. Did you need more than that, Your Majesty? I don't know what we're doing here.
No, I'm just pondering. Well, that's great. Congratulations on your actions. Congratulations, everybody who finished the DLC. Congratulations to everyone who didn't finish the DLC. It's all
Thank
good. It's all
you.
positive. We are
you.
happy. So that's it. The DLC is done. But there is a part 2. And next time, we'll complete The Witches of Brigmore. It'll be a nice week off for Johnny, who already played the whole
Well,
thing.
I'll finish this last little bit of this DLC, and then I'll have a nice time. I'm gonna go to Washington. It's gonna be great.
That'll be
Hang
great.
out with my sister, my friend Teddy. It'll be great.
What a great time to come to the United States. So, let me ask you, in regards to this particular DLC, Jim, what are you squarely against?
I'm squarely. I feel like the game should have. I feel like there's other DLCs that do this, but like pick up your powers kind of where you leave them in the main game. Like I said,
But
it's like
a totally different dude.
I know, but
Totally
that's not a very
different
good
Dowd,
excuse, I guess.
I think
Also,
is what
it
she
should
meant
have
to
been
say.
honestly, if you would have picked up as Dowd where you left off as Corvo, it kind of would have made sense from a continuity standpoint because Dowd has been doing this assassin thing for a long time, right? So he should have been. He should have had his skills way upgraded. He should have been a super powered Corvo, honestly.
Yeah.
But so
I agree.
I think that's kind of the worst part about this is just like, oh man, I have to go through all this fucking upgrade shit again, and I'm playing as like the main assassin dude in the world.
Preach,
That's
brother!
kind of a bummer. So that's what I'm squarely against. Matt, what about you?
I agree with what Jim said. I don't like Dowd. Like, we kind of skated over it, but a lot of Dowd's interior monologue is like, things changed. I went too far. But like, it does not feel earned to me in a way. Like I never sympathized with Dowd. I said it at the beginning of the episode. This DLC honestly made me even more secure in my choice that I killed this fucking asshole. He deserved it. And the fact that he's regretful now of his actions doesn't negate the fact that he deserves to die and not be a stain on the fucking human race anymore. Like, it's dark. I like a villain turn. This is not. This is a bad villain turn where he's just like, well, I guess I went too far and now I deserve my own happy ending. No, you don't, you piece of shit. And also the powers suck. But I did like killing that whale. That was fun. Whales deserve to die.
I want more whales in these games. The whales are like
killing
supernatural
more
creatures
whales
in this game. I want more whale lore.
Are they
more whale interaction.
supernatural?
They
I would
are.
like
they're
it
like
if-
they're like void. So there are whales in the physical world, but there are also whales in the void. And
I
they are
believe
connected
the
to one
whales
another.
exist both in the physical world and in the void
I
simultaneously.
think the same thing too.
It would be cool if the game did something with that and didn't just hint at it.
Yeah. Some people think the outsider's a whale.
What?
That's dumb and not right at all.
It's both.
At all.
Yeah, I am, I would say, roundly for just sort of seeing the horrors of the whaling industry that is the basis of Dunwall's economy, because I feel like Dunwall's a very dark place, and at the heart of that darkness is not the outsider, but is, in fact, capitalism.
Yeah.
And what it has led people to do to this natural resource, if you want to look at it that way, of these sentient creatures. Johnny, what are you squarely against?
Big labias.
No, I'm not. I'm fine with them.
He doesn't want to be
Sorry,
against
I
those.
apologize. Roundly for big labias.
I'm gonna say I'm roundly for figuring out that recipe. That was a lot of fun. I didn't use a
I'm proud
guide
of
or
you
anything.
for doing it by yourself. That's a hard recipe.
Yeah. What about Jim? Oh no, what about
Already
Matt?
went.
Yeah, what
bro.
about Jim? Jim,
Yep.
tell us what you're squarely against.
What about Matt?
Oh well.
Yeah, me. Let me. Next time on Square Roots.
We're completing
Vanessa?
the Witches of Brigmore.
Did Vanessa go?
Yes, we've all
Everybody
gone.
went.
Now it's time for a little something we call Level Up. And Johnny's going to be in charge of it because he's paying a lot of attention.
I'll go
What?
first.
I'm totally paying attention.
I'll go first.
Make Jim go last because I think
I'm
if he
gonna
goes
go
first, he's
I
going
have a
straight
thing
to bed.
I have a thing to talk about. No, I'll stay, and then I'll go to bed. But I saw a movie called Smile 2.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's a scary movie.
Was the
It is
S a
sequel-
2?
It's a sequel to the scary movie Smile. The stars Kevin Bacon's daughter.
I believe it's called Satumul.
Satumile. The first movie stars Kevin
sequel to
Bacon's
8
daughter,
Mile.
Kevin Bacon Jr., and the second movie stars another person, and it's a really
Wow, thank
it's-
God.
I can't remember her name. Robin something. But it's
Lively.
it's actually a really scary movie.
Oh, that's right. That one stars M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, right?
It stars M. Night Shyamalan Jr. It was actually really scary. It was one really not like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like
Farts.
not like silly
Toots.
gore, but like shocking gore where it doesn't like the camera doesn't linger on it for very long, but you kind of know what's happening and it's very uncomfortable. And also the movie has a lot of the one thing I don't like watching is like when you know that like a lot of these psychological horror movies, when someone has experienced something but you know everyone else is going to think they're crazy and it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a lot of that, like to the point where both Amanda and I were like doing this, like looking away from the screen. Like,
Secondhand embarrassment.
yeah, this is
I know that this woman is haunted.
this is very uncomfortable. Like I know what's about to happen. There's a lot of that, but also like it is just top to bottom, just a
T to
good
B.
movie. Good movie.
That's cool.
It picks up like just a
Better
few
or
days.
worse than Smile 1?
It picks up like
Sma 1 no.
So I thought it was better. Jalen thought it wasn't as good, but I thought it was better, and it picks up just a few days after the ending of the first one. And man, it is solid, top to bottom, solid. So
Let me
I
ask you
recommend
this. Better or worse than Sma 1
it. Better. Better.
Does it have, no spoilers, does it expand on the lore of the Sma 1 at all?
Not
or-
really. No.
That sucks.
Not really.
Does
no.
it explain the world of Smawanel's magical whales?
No.
But it does
thankfully.
feature magical whales.
No.
Yes.
But also, like, you know, a lot of people didn't like the reveal at the end of the first Smile, which was like the Smile monster. Spoiler alert, there's a monster at the end of the first Smile movie. This one, it looks way cooler in the second one and has a way better reveal in the second one. It looks so cool. I'm excited for the next Smile movie. I'm assuming they're going to make another one.
Smathreel.
Yeah. Smile 3, but like the E is a backwards 3 or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Smile 3.
Smile 3, yeah. I think I'm excited for what they're going to do with that one, but like those movies are good. They are good movies, and I'm
Smile's
excited.
good.
I'm excited for what they do with it next. This movie was like I'm serious. It was super tense like the whole way through, and it was not boring. And the lead actor in it, Robin, whatever, was so good. She was amazing.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
It also featured Kyle Gallner at the beginning, reprising his role from the first film. Kyle Gallner, I think,
Spoilers.
probably our only modern Scream King. He's great.
Big spoilers, honestly.
I think that our listeners should watch every movie that Kyle Gallner is in because I haven't seen him in a bad one. Also,
Which I think is Smile 1 and Smile 2.
Speaking of Kyle Gallner, he has a great indie movie that's like came out a couple years ago, but is just now picking up a bunch of steam. It's like getting
Smile.
back into theaters right now. It's called Dinner in America, and it is incredible. You should go watch Dinner in America. It's not a horror movie. It's kind of like one of those kind of quirky indie movies. He plays like a punk rock singer in the Midwest who befriends like a quirky girl. You know what? It's good. Just go watch it. That's how I leveled up. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Well, a couple things. I finally watched Trap, which also, like
Oh.
Smile 2,
More like
stars
crap.
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Well, like crap because it was trap, but it was crap. But it was also kind of good,
Thought it
actually.
was okay. It's sort of fun to watch. I'll put it that way. Like it's not a movie that makes any sense. There are definitely some times where you're like, well, this like is supposed to be a movie about a normal guy, but this guy could not do this thing without some kind of weird powers.
Why did
But
the
he
cops?
doesn't
teleports
have
at least
powers, it's
once.
just plot
Why
holes,
why
yeah.
did the cops let him gouge out the eyes of that one cop? Like, were they just feeling? Well, he gets one as a treat.
Yeah, that was hilarious. They just like sort of stand there and watch, and then they're like, "Well, tase him again." Yeah.
Why did they let him fix that bike?
That's a great. These are all
magic
great
powers.
questions.
Magic powers.
Because it's a movie and it's starring a famous person, and so of course the cops give him deference.
Yeah. I would say that M. Night Shyamalan's daughter was fine for the music parts, for the acting parts. Sort of, I think you could tell that she would not have been cast if she was not his daughter.
Yeah, not terrible, but not like good either. I thought the music was also not great, but better than I expected it to be. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was fine. It was like
It's not good.
fine, normal pop music.
It's not glaringly bad though.
Yeah.
All right. We've all seen
One
it
thing
now.
I thought was funny when they were introducing the artist was they looked out. There's a shot from in the parking lot of like Lady Raven, and she had two buses that were both labeled Lady Raven. I was like, that's not. It's like you don't see a Taylor Swift branded bus because people would drive that shit off the road.
Yeah, they don't want people to know that she
One
is
thing
on
about
it.
that is like they. Sorry, I'm kind of going off about this movie, but like Josh Hartnett was like outsmarting everyone in the stupidest ways. It wasn't that he was very smart; as everyone else was super fucking stupid.
What if I told them my daughter has cancer?
Yeah, hey, I'm a middle-aged guy in like what looks like a Freddy Krueger sweater. Let me throw on this apron. People think I work here now, I guess.
Yeah. So I watched that, but most of what I have been doing with my time is playing Dragon Age Veilguard.
Reagan Age.
I'm not really ready to talk about it yet. I am enjoying it, but I'm going to need a lot of time to percolate my thoughts into a
I will
fully
say-
formed opinion.
Are you enjoying it so far? You played way more than me, but I'm probably I think I'm like a third of the way through the main story.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. The gameplay I think is fun. It's a lot more action based than older
I like that.
Dragon Age games. Yeah, it's fun to play.
It feels like it feels like what they wanted to do with Inquisition a little bit. Like it's definitely like a more refined version of that combat system.
Yeah. It is sort of a hit the ground running game in that
Yeah.
it's a direct sequel to Inquisition, which is fine if you're very familiar with Inquisition, but I do find myself even though I know exactly what's going on and can see how this like new character would fit into it, I don't feel like the protagonist is grounded in any particular way.
I agree. I feel like I think the thing that I like least about it is the player character feels doesn't fit into the world very well.
Yeah.
Like they're not like, because you're constantly running into characters from other games, and it's like this character is kind of like feels like an outsider all the time, and so it puts you like a dimension removed from everything that's going on in a way.
Well, and Inquisition did the same thing, but they, very cleverly was like, well, this person, just by happenstance became this key person.
Yeah. Well, they're always they're always putting, like in Inquisition, they're always putting the Inquisitor at the center of what's going on. And this one, you're kind of like observing all these things and kind of tangentially like participating in stuff.
Yeah. And I understand wanting to like sort of have a blank canvas for people to role play with, but I don't know. I think if it like Origins, like it has different backgrounds you can choose from. I think just give us like a little hour level for each of those backgrounds to like say, this is this person, this is what they're about, these are like their friends, and then this is how they got wrapped up in this. I think that's all you really needed.
I wish too that like when it was bringing back a character from the other games, it was a little more explicit about it, because sometimes like you'll run into another character from like Inquisition, but there's no like fanfare about it. It's just like, here's another guy that's talking. Like when you run into the guy in the tavern who's talking to the first warden who's from Inquisition, I can't remember the bisexual Dorian. You run into him. And I had no idea that was Dorian until like a half an hour later. And
It should be like a Marvel movie, and every time a character from a different movie shows up, it should play their theme so you know that they're important.
You know what? I would have loved like an intro, like title card kind of thing where it's like Dorian.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated that a little, because like he's
Like
dressed
Borderlands.
completely different. He has
His
a totally
hair is
different
different,
outfit, different haircut. He has like
Doesn't
a
have
side.
his curly Q mustache.
His like half of his head is shaved. He's wearing something completely different. They barely say his name.
Yeah, which like fair enough. It's 8 years
so
later.
confusing
But...
when someone 10 years later doesn't look the same, right, guys?
Well, but I mean, they really don't look the same because they've changed
last
the
game
art
came
style
out-
entirely.
Like Inquisition came out 9 years ago. You know what? Like hold my hand.
The game telling me that this person's name is the name of somebody from the last game I played is not enough.
Like I said, they barely say his name. It's just a guy that comes up and talks to you.
I mean, eventually he explains who he is, but
Eventually,
yeah. It's sort of like if you have a comic book that you follow and then they get a new artist and the artist like the art style's totally different, and then they're also like, and I'm also going to give Superman a whole different suit, and then you'll have to kind of figure out he's Superman on your own. But it's fine. Would I recommend it? Yes, if you're a fan.
It's super fun to play.
It's super fun to play. If you're a fan of the Dragon Age series, I mean, it's different, but so was Dragon Age 2, so was Origins, so was Inquisition. So just go with it.
I'll also say too, like I've played the game on my PC, which is definitely how it's meant to be played on like a modern console or modern platform. But I've also played it on my Steam Deck, and it runs. Like the graphics are a little degraded on the Steam Deck, but otherwise it runs so well. Like load times are fast, textures look pretty good. In combat, things can look a little bit grainy, but there's never like any frame drops. So I'm like having a great time with it.
Nice. Johnny, how did you level up?
Let's see. I've been watching The Simpsons. I talked about that before. I just watched the Treehouse of Horror episode. That was pretty fun. There was
There's like 20 of those. There's at least 20 of those.
36. This was the 36th Treehouse of Horror, and there was a fun Neo Genesis Evangelion type episode, but it was about politics. So there was a really good one with called Denim, about symbiotic genes that merge with Homer, and where the genes were made with stop motion animation. So that was really cool. And I was telling Matt that Simpsons, the last couple of seasons have been generally pretty good. Even though, I think that the show should end and let other stuff new shows with new ideas come out. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's still a good, entertaining watch written by smart, funny people. So yeah, I have been doing that. Otherwise, just playing a lot of driving games. And playing old like Forza 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I played some races online. I'm much better at Forza Horizon online with randos than I am Gran Turismo, where I'm last place every time. Every time. I think I'm good at driving games until I play Gran Turismo online, and then I am the worst at driving games.
Oh, but you can't compare yourself to people who only play driving games. You're a diverse gentleman.
It's true. It is true. It's like PUBG or any of those games.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Paul is the best at PUBG because that's all Paul plays.
Yeah, I do play a lot of
I
different
am the best at
kind of games.
PUBG.
I've also been playing a lot of
Madden?
Sierra games again, capturing footage for my little Sierra video, and that's been really fun. Those games are good, Vanessa. Like, going
I
back and
know.
playing those for the first time in a gajillion years, they're still fun.
I still really want to do King's Quest 7 with you on the
Yeah,
stream.
that'd be great, because I've seen bits of it, but I've never seen the whole thing.
I would love to be involved in that.
Yeah, maybe we can call dibs on the stream after you're done with whatever you're playing now, if no one has.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my turn next time, but
Nah, your turn's after Vanessa's turn.
I think
Yeah.
it's time for another. I mean, King's Quest is just like a baby version of Harvester, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll just play Harvester.
Yeah. We should.
I would,
you know what we should
love
do,
that
Jim?
too. Can you all stop threatening me with a good time?
Jim, we should figure out how to make games and just make Harvester too.
We should like film a Harvester movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, crowdfund it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm fat. I'll take my shirt off and eat some pie. Is that
Me.
You were always such a kidder, Steve.
Jim, you could be Steve, all grown up.
I'll be Steve.
Yeah.
I would love taking my shirt off at the end of every gameplay day. Where it's like,
All right.
I guess I have to be like the weird mom or the girlfriend in the peephole. I don't want to be peephole girlfriend.
Did you level up, Matt? I can't remember.
what's important is that you'll die either way.
Yeah.
you should be like sexually diseased hooker in the lodge that you can sleep with and like die from herpes or whatever.
That's a great
happens in that
idea,
game.
Jim.
Matt, have you leveled up?
Yes.
All right.
No.
No? Sorry, yes, but no?
You didn't level up. You have the opportunity to.
Okay, Matt, how did you level up?
Pass.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Vanessa,
Well.
how did you level up?
Everyone's gone.
Oh,
I
you
was
already
the
leveled
last one, and I passed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. On the next episode, we're going to be playing through the Witches of Brigmore Dishonored DLC. After
Again,
that,
Johnny, you're going to play it again.
yeah. After
Sure I
that,
will, buddy.
we are going to be starting Sea of Stars. TBD on what the... Wow, John. Look
Oh,
disgusted.
sorry. No, I just ate something that I really didn't want to eat. Is that it? Yeah, that's what happened.
Fart.
So TBD on what the first chunker of that will be, but
You don't have to do that until next week anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But before we sign off, I would like to plug our Patreon at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. On that Patreon, you can have access to all of our great bonus content. Matt said this earlier, but there's some great Halloween content. There's Level Up episodes. There's Squarely Against episodes. We mentioned this at the top of the episode, but also check out our stream, youtube.com/squarerootstreamhd.podcast. You can find that. You can sign up for that Patreon at the $3 level. You get access to all that sweet ass content. At the $5 level, you get access to all that sweet ass content, plus the ability to vote on games that we play on the show. Another benefit of being a patron is that we like to personally thank some of them on the show every week. I'm going to start us off this week by thanking Daniel Wood, John B. Quaker Oatman, Gigantified Micro Space Hamster, Johnny's Nintendo Sound Clock Reimbursement Plan, Persona 5 in 2025, Eric Pitkameni, Tom, Fei Fangdong, Wash in the Wind, and
I'd like to thank Angel, DP 2099, Tracy the Board Queen, Doom Train, Mostly Rational Person, Isaac Wright, Ward, Childress, Soul Wagner, Edarule, and friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole.
I'd like to thank.
I'd like to thank. Oh,
No, you go.
I'd like to thank Dr. Fine. Say everyone's name.
Of course, Her
respectable
Majesty
name.
must go 1st.
Huxley. I'm going third. Thank you very much. Let's not get too excited about this whole Majesty thing.
more like turd.
I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. I'm so sorry.
Dr. Fine. Say everyone's name. Respectable name. Huxley Iguana. Andy Smith. Samu Mitchell. Hexagon. Andy M. Amanda Douglas. Wedge Coon and. Flash Eyes.
Flash Eyes.
It's Will Baby Flash Eyes. I'm back.
I'd like to thank Jesse's mom has pizza going on, as well as, oh, you don't have the right, Mike Marno, Josh Holt, Johnny Five Alive, Chris Penyak, Ryan Schmidt, Ross Hartley, Orcus the Great, and Addicted to the Smell of Natty Ice. I still don't
Sniff,
understand
sniff.
that.
I feel like that is a reference to something that I understood the last time we recorded, but I forgot about.
Oh. Send us an email. You know our email address at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. If you don't want to do that, go to our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or go on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social. I'll have to figure out how to get on that thing.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes. All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
And I'm Vanessa, and I love you all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Best episode ever.